and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the ESL Open Cup Asia, papi, number 241. I'm of course VIP. With me, I will eventually be joined by the one, the only, the Yaku of the Zaku. I'm sure I'll be joined. But we are jumping in to a broadcast for the first time in a long time. It's been a week full of EWC. We've been co-streaming EWC for the past week. Now we can finally cast some StarCraft. I'm running on fumes. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep, so it's been it's been a wild night. It's been a very, very intense night or week of StarCraft, I should say, and I've yet to fully recover, but we're getting there. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Hyper 1. It is Mono. The most honorable of honorables. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Italian Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Azura. Here we go. If you're in the chat, exclamation mark, be in the chat. Oh my god. If you want to have a look at the bracket, exclamation mark, be in the chat. Alas, the bracket is stacked full of so many players, and as you can imagine, this is going to be an interesting tournament just because many of the top players are, of course, traveling. You got players like Solar, players like... God, I'm blanking out already. It's only 4 hours sleep. Players like Solar, players like Dark, players like Hero Classic, Bjorn, Kior, and many others have all been traveling over to EWC. Alas, they are not available at the moment for ESL Open Cup Asia, as they are mid-flight or even still yet to flight as well. As a result, we're able to showcase some of these other players that have yet to travel, that have stayed at home and are ready to take the championship themselves. They're ready, man. They're ready. Oh. Meanwhile, speaking of, to have Azura opening up with a Twilight Council back at home. Twilight Council before expand. Okay, Azura, we're cooking. Dark Shrine? Dark Shrine? Oh. With a Twilight Council this fast, I'm leaning towards a proxy Dark Shrine, but we'll keep an eye on Azura. Meanwhile, across the map. Oh, right, predictions should now be closed at this point. Should be closed. Best of luck in the chat. With your Gamba, Papi. Best of luck. Fumes. And there it is! It is going to be the Dark Shrine. Okay, the Dark Shrine is not proxied, it's back at home. Again, you don't rush into a Twilight Council this quickly without good reason. So it has been thrown down. Dark Shrine is on the way. Pylon has been thrown down as well. And we'll see if Mono can survive the nonsense that's about to occur. Because this is straight up nonsense. Speaking of nonsense, Papi, thank you so much to Monteon in the chat. Oh my god, for the 10 gifted subs. That's a lot of subs, Papi. Thank you so much for the support. Gracias, Papi. Gracias, Monteon. Thank you so much for all that you have provided. Of course, all the money that we make here, all the support that we get, does go straight towards our tournaments. It allows us to actually do this as often as we do, able to cast on a daily basis. So thank you so much for the support. Gracias, Papi. Thank you. Do appreciate it. As we're popping off and getting to our first game, Adept does shade away. Mono behind this did open up with a 2-1-1 variation. And if we mule a little bit too hard, that could be the end of Mono, as the Dark Shrine is about to finish up and the first wave of DTs are on the way. They're gonna be on the way. Again, thank you so much for the support. Meanwhile, the Marines, they're hunting, they're looking for any stray units. DTs are waddling on in. And have we noticed? Do we realize what's going on? No scan available. There's a little bit of energy. We just muled the natural base. DT does not waddle in. We do barely wall off in time. Homeowner has noticed, but again, Homeowner needs time for that scan. The boys are being pulled. We go for the Marines instead. We get one Marine so far. Ooh, scan will shut down the first DT. And it was just no, get out of here. Second DT does waddle in. Second DT does waddle in, and we're going to be able to get even more damage done. No SCVs, but we are getting Marines. Value nonetheless, and back at home, we're double expanding. Back at home, we have our natural. We're getting to our third base as well. We are settling in. And the DT even escapes. It waddles away. Does manage to barely waddle away outside of range. Just making sure the turret doesn't catch it. And Home Mono behind this is settling into his third rack. So okay, we're looking at the units lost tab. There we go. It's been a week. It's been a week. That was 7 Marines. 7 Marines, 1 SCV. Not bad damage for 1 DT. Bear that in mind. The second Dark Templar is still alive, and we're following this up with a Blink Stalkers. Blink is now done. We only have a handful of Stalkers that are going to be nibbling away at the front lines, getting an SCV. Just 1 SCV for the time being. Stim is going to be baited out. Ooh, not quite catching much of anything. We do have the Adept being shut down in the main. Is cleaned up. And from here, we can come down a little bit. We can settle it into our would-be 3-base economy. Again, Azura was quite greedy behind this, taking that third base. We have Charge on the way, Forge on the way for +1. Azura is settling in. And Home Mono did miss his timing. Again, ideally we did want to move out with Stim, but we have been kept back at home because of the DTs, and now we're just waiting for our medevacs, waiting for our wave of tanks, and then we should be moving out. And we have a Raven. Means DTs won't be the answer to this army. Not this time. Speaking of... Oh! Calm down. DT does stay back. Spotter pylons on the way. And can Azura survive the eventual move out? I mean, charge lots are going to be amazing in this kind of situation, but do we have the production? Do we have the economy to really sustain that? We're still only on 3 gateways, so we can only warp in 3 zealots at a time. The main army is spotted, and that's a lot of Marines! That's a lot of man with gun. Yeah, DT goes down. We scan, we confirm the saturation at the third base. Home Mono does find the proxy. We'll clean it up. Likewise, Azura moving out. Gateway's gonna fall. Azura trying to meet the army as well. Tank is on siege, but is that enough zealots? The Star Stepping is good. We do have the anti-armor missile as well. Does connect all the Stalkers. Yeah, and Azura just doesn't have enough to really contest against this. Not in a head-on fight. I do feel like Home Mono could try to keep chasing, but Home Mono is going to back off. He's going to take the third base. Behind this, we have our Ghost Academy. We have extra Raxes on the way. Home Mono settling into his own 3 bases. Meanwhile, Azura gets away with a 4th. I do feel like Home Mono could have counterattacked, but Azura is able to take a 4th base and take the expansion. And is able to at least repel that push. Oh, he wants the Raven! Up! He wants it! He's not gonna get it! Not enough Stalkers, not enough shots. The Raven barely survives. Stalkers get the hell out of there. More DTs coming. Jesus Christ. More DTs coming in. There is Blink. Okay. We have a Blink for the Dark Templar. The Raven moving out for a counterattack, which means DTs have potential. They do blink into the main. Oh, the snipe! Snipe shuts him down. Likewise, Raven across the map and making its way towards the 4th base, towards the 3rd as well. Finally, Home Mono getting some damage done across the map. They're getting some. And Home Mono with his Auto Starter getting 3 probes. Okay, not a bad start. Getting 3 workers, keeping Azura's attention back at home. Zelsa Stalkers race back. But yeah, Home Mono's been taking a more passive approach here as he's going to be able to hold on to his 4th, but has yet to move out. I mean, skipping the initial 2-on-1 timing makes sense, but at this point we've reached, you know, a higher tank count, higher ghost count. But we have still yet to pull the trigger. And Azura still maintains map control. Maintain it. Oh. So it's ready to dive. Once again, more probes falling down. Do fall to the auto turret. And behind this, Azura getting into 2 more robos. We're still lacking splash damage. This is why I'm really concerned about an eventual move out. Azura is still stuck with purely a gateway army. DTs, Zealots, Stalkers, and head-on fight. I don't think we can really touch Homono. But that will change once we get to Colossus, once we get Disruptors. Once these robos get up and running. We can actually start to keep up and pose a threat. Until then, though, there's the big window. There's a window where Homeowner can move out and attempt to end the game. I am concerned. So we've got an 8 probe kills so far. And here comes the move out. Homeowner finally going to be pulling the trigger. Bearing in mind he has 1-1. He has how many Marines? We have 41 Marines, 5 tanks as well. That's a lot of tanks, Papi. That's a lot of tanks. As he moves out, DTs waddle in. How would you spot them? We attempt to take the 4th base. Zealots, they race back home. And we're making 3 Colossus at a time. That's a lot of Colossus. We don't have them yet. Zealots, they crash in. So far, we're getting on top of the Marines. Big tank volleys going off. And we get EPs on those Stalkers. It looks like we should shut down the Gateway Army. Here come the Colossus, just in time. We have the overcharge. Oh, we just need 1 extra wave of Zealots and we can collapse on this army. Yeah, the tanks are exposed. We're going to be able to shut them down. Every tank going to be going down. Homeowner does get the base. Well, was this worth it? He lost 5 tanks. Oh, can we get on top of the Colossus? We're going to try. And it looks like we will get on top of 1 Colossus. Not even the Colossus does live, does survive. And Azura barely will take the fight. We were cutting it close. Look to the east, and the Colossus, they arrived. Oh my god. Azura holds on. Behind this, we can see Homono just scanning, checking for a 5th base. There is none. So Homeowner does have the greater economy, that is true. Does have the economy. Blackware still building up. Building up his tank, his Viking count this time. 2nd starport's on the way. Water Tartaras is continuing. Shout to Homeowner. Keeping this Raven tucked away. Also, I do apologize for, I mean, not dropped frames, but, I guess dropped frames in-game. There has been a bit of latency going on. I do apologize for that. I can't really do much. What can I do? What can I do? But from here, Homeowner, he's going to calm things down. We're on 4 bases, and we're going to be, I imagine, just chilling back at home until we max out. And even though Azura did barely survive, Azura is still not quite out of the woods yet. Disruptor production has begun. How many disruptors do we have? We have 5 already. Oh my god, that's a lot of disruptors. 5 disruptors here for Azura. They can pop off. Homeowner is working towards Liberator production. You can see the Ghost Academy, sorry, the Fusion Core on the way. That is going to be for Libs. Until that does occur, Homeowner is moving out with his army once again and will deny the 5th. Base goes down. Main army is spotted. And we need those disruptors. Nice EMP on the DTs. Nova goes off. Decent connection. The second one does whiff. Nova goes off and does catch 2 ghosts. Very nice connections. And we have 2 Novas left. They're going to be going off and they once again will connect. Homeowner taking a lot of damage, a lot of hits. Yeah, and he's bleeding out too much. We rotate on over. We take down the base once again. We get a snipe on the Nexus. And we're going for a Doom Drop into the main, doing whatever we can to try to slow the army down, keep it at home. But after this fight, Azura can counterattack. We get the Forge, Azura rotates into the main. And again, we're just trying to buy as much time as possible. The army's pinned back behind this homeowner. Expanding once again. Oh, can we get the planetary? We should have a scan. There we go. We're fine. Yeah, we barely do have the scan. Never mind. Do we come back in? Up. No, we get it. No. We get the CC. 4 DTs in a dream. 1 scan is not enough. The base goes down, and again, Homeowner's army is lacking a little bit. What I will say, though, is that we have libs on the way, right? Liberators. Freedom is about to arrive, and with Freedom, we can, again, take better engagements. We can force the Protoss army to kind of transition out of this ground toss into sky toss, or a heavier Stalker count. Oh my god, what are we... As Disruptors, take the hell out of here. I know what we were doing out there, but it's fine. It's fine. We're back home. Do pull back. Just... here we go. Liberators have arrived. I do apologize. I do see people noticing the stuttering that's happening in game. I can't really do much about that. It's just connection to BNet, baby. Smooch. Like the stream itself is fine. It's just connection to StarCraft, basically. As once again, the army's going to be engaging. We can see Homeowner, a lot of his supply is still tied up across the map in these Liberators, in these drops. But Azura is pushing in. And as you mentioned, once we get these Liberators out, it's like, what is the answer? We go for the dive. Oh, we don't get them. Oh, God. The Liberators survive. Stalkers get punished. Rotating over, going for the base. Going for the planetary. Planetary does go down. But again, Azura cannot push into the main army. Oh, let's go. The anti-air of the libs. Gets the Phoenix. More Liberators across the map. Oh, this is getting impressive, actually. We're making more libs. 3 at a time. We're denying mining at the 5th. We're denying mining at the 4th. Azura's being starved out, and Homeowner's maxed. And we just dragged the army in. We dragged the army into freedom. And here comes the move out. Again, Homeowner is maxed. We have a mass amount of bio. We have more Liberators. How many do we have? 15! 15 Liberators here for Homeowner. We take down the base. Azura cannot touch this army, at least not when these Liberators are involved. Gonna be rotating over. Libs have to keep up. Up! Let's go up. Big connections. And Azura at this point, going for a base trade is probably the best choice to avoid those Liberators. I say that they're back at home as well. They're everywhere. They're at home, they're across the map. They're denying more mining time. We snipe a Colossus. Yeah, and I'm not so sure we can stop Homeowner. Not anymore. He's getting out of control. I mean, Azura did hold his own for a very long time. And even had some good fights. Especially with those 3 Colossus, but was unable to close it out. And Homeowner has reached his final form. Like, he's getting into 3-3 upgrades. We have mass range libs. Oh god, and pushing up this ramp is not gonna be pretty. Don't push in. Oh my god. We hold the line. And there just aren't enough Stalkers here. Yeah, libs, they clean up the ground army. GG gets called, and Honmono takes game number 1. GG. And again, I do apologize for the stuttering in game. Ideally, that will clear up as the tournament does progress, but I can't really do much about it, unfortunately. Smooge. Sometimes the connection to Korea is just a little bit shaky. I can't really do much else about that. But regardless, GG, well played. Homono does take the first game, and with that, we'll take a lead in the series against Azura. Again, after the series, we'll be going over the bracket itself, going over the rest of the matches. We'll get there. We will get there. Someone was asking about Yaku earlier, and yes, Yaku will hopefully join me later on in the broadcast. Yet to be determined, though. It sounds like Yaku has some PC issues and is resolving them. And once he does, he can hop on and join me for the rest of the broadcast. Until then, though, gonna be solo casting. Until then. And we're jumping into game number 2. Again, that was a wild opener. As a reminder, it was a Twilight Council before expand into a Dark Shrine, into a proxy. A crazy start from Azura. Almost did work, almost. He had his moments. But now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Alkion, we have our South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Hyper 1. It is Honmono. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Italian Protoss player, the pink Protoss representing Ping Pong Exports. It is Azura. I also apologize if I sound a little bit out of energy or a little bit drowsy. If you can hear me slurring my words a little bit, I did notice it myself. I am running off of like 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Unfortunately, basically, obviously I stayed up for EWC when we were co-streaming, but after EWC I had to stay up even further. I was having some internet issues last week. The internet was dropping consistently on a daily basis. It was brutal. It was brutal for the past 2 weeks. It looks like it has since been resolved. Basically, the technician arrived today, so I had to stay up. Fun fact, EWC ended like at 6 a.m. my time, and the technician was scheduled to arrive between like 8 a.m. and like midday. So I had to stay up. Did arrive, and apparently there was some issues with the connections like out on the streets. Apparently there was like a car accident like a month ago or something, a month and a half ago, and it did affect like the area, and not everything was fixed up, so we had to call them up, and they got around to it, and apparently everything's fixed. Apparently the internet should be stable from here on forward, but we'll see. This is our first stream since then. But because of that, I didn't go to bed until 2 p.m. and the cast is at 7 p.m. So, what I can promise though is I'm gonna sleep like a baby after this tournament. It's gonna be so good. I'm just gonna go right to bed, pass the hell out, and never wake up until tomorrow's ESL Open Cup America's cast. But that is going to be the plan, is to get some patch, to get all of the patch. Until then, it is going to be a gate expand. We do have our gateway decide. We'll go into expansion here from Azura. This time, no crazy opener, no faster tech. It is going to be a Twilight Council opener, but very different to what we saw in game number 1. Likewise, Homono back at home is opening up with another 2-on-1 variation. Okay, with a Rax expand into our factory, into our second Rax. As a reminder, initially Homono was going to go for a stim timing in game 1. He was delayed because of the DTs. He was stuck back at home. But now things are going to be a little bit different. Now Homono can actually get into his own build. We can actually settle it. Speaking of, there is the start point. So yeah, straight up 2-on-1. We're going for a 60 Marine Stim double medevac timing. This is a build typically reserved for Zerg players in TVZ, but is sometimes seen against Protoss. We have seen Maru, Bjorn, and all the other Korean Terran players mix this in every now and then. This was very trendy at the start of 2023. There was like a couple of month period last year where we would see this rise in popularity, and then it died out like after a month or two. But it was really cool to see it in its time. And now we see it again. After quite a bit of a hiatus. There we go, Blink is on the way. This is going to be a Blink-based opener here out of Azura. And we'll see how many gateways we commit to. For now, it's just going to be 2 gates, so it looks like 2 gate Blink into a third. Very macro opener here out of Azura. Makes sense, considering that we are, of course, loading into Aptione, one of the more macro-oriented maps in the map pool. Base has been taken. We're calming things down, and it's going to be Honmono being the aggressor. We spoke about it. Stim is about to finish, and we have not quite 16 Marines, but close enough. We're moving out across the map. We're going for our drop. The Adept did miss it. And Azura hasn't seen much of anything in the main. We are a little bit in the dark here. Azura doesn't have the Zonaga either. And with that, we have completely missed the move out. We have an army to work with back at home. The shield battery at the third base isn't quite done. We could try to force a cancel in the third, but no, we're going straight for the main. Mono diving straight into the main base instead. Going to be unloading. What do we go for? The tech, the economy. A little bit of both. Depowering the gateway, depowering the Twilight Council. And we do pick off one of those stalkers. Oh! Link does not quite punish, and Homono will get the hell out of here. And this Stim timing was a little bit lackluster. Sure, we got a pylon, but we didn't get much else. For the most part, Azura was able to respond. So that did minimize losses, and now Homono has to get the hell out of here. Behind this, we're still building up a greater bio army, getting tank production. That was a lot of Marines. That was 6 Marines for a pylon and a stalker. Now here comes the second wave. Azura does have the Zonaga, does spot the move out. Azura knows and will respond. His goal here is to force a Stim to delay the push. Gets a Marine. Gets 1 Marine so far. Extra shield batteries on the way. Oh, that's a lot of fire. The boys have been pulled. Oh my god. I wasn't quite expecting that, but the boys are here. Of course they are. It's Hong Mono we're casting. Oh, it's Hong Mono. The boys have arrived. The tanks are getting within range. That's Noto's pylon. And we shut down the shield batteries. We evacuate the third base. But Hong Mono, he doesn't just want the third. He wants the kill. He wants the natural. He wants to go for Azura. Whilst this is out, tanks are slowly sieging forward. Marines take down the third base. Tanks are getting within range of the wall. Actually going towards the main. Okay, going for the Twilight Council. The Twilight Council is exposed. We'll see Azura trying to set up us around, trying to catch reinforcements. And we'll catch them. Meanwhile, eBay on the way to create some SimCity. Cybercore goes down, but charge is done. If we had denied charge, that could have been game. We are warping more zealots. Disruptors on the way as well. We can see Azura going for a counterattack. Alas, we have a tank, we have a bunker, and we should be okay. Now we get the Twilight Council. Azura still amassing an army. Recalling back home. Oh! Get a medevac. Not bad. Oh, what are the SCV? I'm like, the boys are up here as well. My god. But now we have a disruptor as well. Azura, he's a little bit more prepared for this. Is supply block though? Heavily supply block. Oh. Second Colossus is about to pop out. Dropping back into the main. We started +1. Nervous going off. Massive connection. Oh my god. And we've stuck around a little bit too long. Azura is swallowing up this army. The Stalkers, they don't trade too well. And oh my god, the tanks hold their own. Okay, we're holding. The tanks staying their ground, dropping into the main. Only 2 Stalkers. Recalls on cooldown. And Homeowner even saves the tanks just barely. Diving into the main base. We turn back around. We get a Colossus. Oh my god. 1 Colossus goes down. Can we get the other? He wants it. He wants the Colossus. Up. Up. Oh my god. And he's going to get it. 1 more shot. Both Colossus go down. Yeah, Homeowner popping off. Back at home. We're still building up an army. And now Azura's in a lot of trouble. I'm a little bit afraid to look, but I believe, yeah, the Disruptor went down as well. We lost the Disruptor, we lost both Colossus, we lost the 3rd base. A bunch of tech. And this means that Azura's army is now much weaker here in the main move out. With the follow-up push, we have 1 Immortal, that's the backbone of the army. We have 1 Disruptor on the way. We barely have anything, and we catch the Immortal. Release trigger the shields. Scan reveals the new 3rd. Homeowner making his way over. Does rotate. And tanks are sieging up. Oh my god, the mineral line! Oh, Jesus. We get 9 probes. The rest do barely escape. Nova goes off. We get on top of the base. Yeah, the Nexus is going to go down. Once again for a 2nd time. Likewise, Azura catching reinforcements, at least attempting to. And I understand that Homeowner is being cautious, considering, I mean, Azura's potential with his army, with those Disruptors. But I do think that Homeowner can rotate and push into the natural itself. For now, catching Zealots. 3rd TC's on the way. Despite Homeowner going for the 2 base all-in, despite pulling the boys earlier, we have been able to build back up. Getting to a 3rd. Rotating over, going for the 3rd base of Azura. Tanks to siege. There he goes up. Now back up to 1 Colossus. Oh my god, and we are setting up a Tomb Drop. Okay. I mean, there is the Spotter Observer, thankfully. Main army is spotted. We do have a recall. A Spotter Drop. We don't have a Warp in. We have 2 Zealots. We have 1 Colossus waddling in. But again, we have to be so careful with that Colossus. Diving on the main army, getting some Marines. We'll clean this up. Oh my god, we shut down the bio. And we cleaned up every single tank. This Doom Drop was not it. It was not it, Pappy. Oh god. A very efficient fight here for Azura. The Archon's doing an amazing job of just tanking those shots. Colossus cleaning everything else up. Homeowner plummets in supply. And suddenly, Azura's back in this. Homeowner's taking a 3rd, that's true, but economically with neck and neck. Army supply wise, we just lost how many tanks? It's like 5 tanks, 4 tanks. And now Azura has a pretty solid robo-based army. Disruptors, we have Colossus. 3rd base back up and running. We got this. Homeowner is struggling a little bit here. I mean, behind this, Homeowner is getting into a 4 CC. It's on the way. 3rd base is going to be a planetary. We have a center tower, missile turrets. Lid production is on the way with that fusion core. Now, what I will say is that ideally a Protoss player wants to be up a base compared to a Terran to be even, and the 4th base is just now on the way, so Homeowner economically is actually in a slightly better position than Azura. But the main army, that's what I'm concerned about. Now, when it comes to my concerns, as we saw in Game 1, we need an answer to the Libs. We need an answer to these Liberators. As the Lib count is going to get higher and higher. And we're just now working on the upgrades. Double Forge on the way for 1-1. We're going to be trying to rely here on these Blink Stalkers. And there it is, we're making 3 Liberators at a time. That's a lot of Libs. That's a lot of Libs, Pat. Prism gets found. Prism is found out. And Azura has yet to really move out across the map. I mean, pushing up a ramp into a planetary, into tanks, it's not going to be easy. Azura for now sharking around. Looking for the main army. Libs once again coming in. Have a Liberator towards the south. Main army, we do at least keep up with it. And we get 3 more Libs towards the natural. But Azura is going to be able to respond. Yeah, we just brute force our way in. Archons, they can tank some Lib hits. It's okay. They can tank the Libs. Meanwhile, we catch a Disruptor. There we go. Oh! Oh my god. It's a worthwhile trade for Homono. Bleeding out a handful of bio units for a Disruptor. Oh, but here comes the move out. Azura close to maxing. I mean, this could just be an answer to these Liberators, is if we go for an Archon heavy composition, we can just tank the shots. And just force our way up the ramp. There's not a lot of finesse to it. Not the cleanest approach, but it could work. The downside, of course, being EMPs and ghosts, as we are making 3 ghosts at a time. Can EMP and shut down the main army. For now, Azura moving out. We are going to be moving out again. Here comes the Freedom. How many Libs? 5? A decent amount. Not as big as 14 that we had last game. Not as much. We can see Homono gaining ground at the same time. Azura going for a massive counterattack. Pushing into a planetary. Nice EMP. Boys are being pulled. Storm on the Ghost. But the repairs are solid at the same time. We dive on the main army. Massive EMPs once again. Oh my god. We get a massive storm though. Yeah, we run into the storm, a massive connection. But we break through the main army nonetheless. Meanwhile, across the map, the planetary is still barely holding on. The repairs are enough. Oh, siege up, Papi, siege up. Oh, as Homeowner, he's lacking a little bit of control here, but there we go. He does siege up his Libs. And it will shut down the Stalker army. He's breaking through the front lines. At the same time, the planetary holds. The planetary stands strong. And Homeowner looks like he has done it. He breaks through the main army. Meanwhile, the counterattack does not get any damage done. Gets stopped by a planetary and SCVs. And Homeowner, he breaks the 4th, the 3rd, and now is going straight for the main. A GG gets called, and Homeowner will pull his way back into this and take the series at 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Homeowner does take the series 2-0 and will advance on to the next round. Congratulations. Oh. Here we go. GG, well played. Honmono does take down Azura 2-0, does advance on to the next round, and we'll be following Honmono into that next series. Meanwhile, catching up in the chat. Likewise, we can also take a moment to have a look at the bracket itself. !B in the chat if you guys wish to have a look yourselves. Just need a moment to set that up. Here we go. Okay, from the top, where are we? Where exactly are we here? Okay, we do have some updates. We have NXZ taking down Hua 2-0. NXZ now up against Creator in the round of 16. Scrolling down, we have our series. Honmono is waiting for the winner of NXZ and Creator. Unfortunately, we did miss NXZ and Creator by a couple of seconds. So that's a little bit smooch, a little bit unfortunate. It's a little bit unfortunate that we did actually miss NXZ and Creator. I think they're in game 1, I think. And we might be able to jump into game number 2, so we're going to be lying in wait. Scrolling down, we have Lemon versus Fork, currently mid-series, when it goes up against Rogue, as Rogue takes down Luciano 2-0. Rogue is one of the big names in this week's tournament. We'll see if anyone can bring him down. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have Firefly. Firefly waiting for the winner of Dash and Silky. They're currently mid-series in a PVZ. Firefly, of course, another big heavy favorite for the tournament. Scrolling down, we have Rex waiting for the winner of Moku and Nightmare. Rex takes down Rebellion 2-0. Very nicely done. Very big win there for Rex. Does take down Rebellion. And waiting for a Zerg player or a Protoss. Oh boy. So, yeah, we have quite an interesting bracket here. I mentioned before that a lot of the top tier players are traveling. So players like Beyond, Solar, alongside Dark, a classic hero. Our big regulars are all unfortunately not here, as they are either mid-flight or soon to be mid-flight to return back home. So this does mean that this week's ESL Asia, Europe, and Americas are up for grabs. I say up for grabs, MaxPax is the biggest name that didn't travel, of course, so he's going to be there for Europe and Americas, but MaxPax usually doesn't wake up this early for ESL Asia. A little bit too early for MaxPax. He's a little bit of a degen, typically waking up later in the day, so as a result, ESL Asia is more up in the air. I mentioned before that the big contenders are going to be players like Creator, Rogue, Firefly, and Nightmare are going to be the big ones to bring down. We'll see if anyone can cause an upset. We'll see if anyone can bring them to their knees. Until then, though, we're going to be keeping our eye on them. And again, our attention for the time being is to wait for the winner of Creator and NXZ. Is the current plan. Otherwise, catching up with the chat. Where's Yaku? I mentioned before that Yaku might be able to join me later on in the broadcast, but for now, I'm on my own. Just catching up. We're all running off of 3 to 4 hours sleep today. It's worth it, Matthew. Worth it. Here we go. There's some people asking, does anyone know when ESL plans to give information about the 2025 circuit? The answer is no. For the time being, there is no public information regarding that. All that we do know is that we're, I imagine, getting information soon, TM. If you're curious about the current EPT circuit, ESL weeklies are only planned for the remainder of this month. September is very much so a question mark. There's a lot of ambiguity surrounding September onwards for StarCraft 2. Of course, we still have WTL World Team League this month in August, alongside the rest of the weeklies, alongside the rest of the online tournaments. But post-August is a little bit more of a question mark. It's a little bit concerning. It's a little bit scary, just, you know, having that kind of uncertainty. But you know, the best that we can do is support StarCraft, support the event. On Twitter, there was a feedback form that was released in regards to EWC, where you can give your feedback. You can you know, send any kind of recommendations for improving the event, likewise for continuing the event as well. And we're all just kind of holding our breath in a way to kind of see what happens. There you go. I'll just hail the payouts. And exactly, yeah, Ryan, he's back. He's back. And with that, I guess we're going to be going on a short break. Sorry, just catching up with the chat, basically. And yeah, with that, we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have either Creator and NXZ mid-series, or we'll have the next round and the winner up against Honmono. We'll have one of the two. Until then, going on a short break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. See you then. Take this moment to drain your disruptors, to massage your marines, stretch your roaches, hydrate your hydras. We're going to be back soon with some more ESL Open Cup Asia. See you then. Huh. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We have returned with, of course, ESL Open Cup Asia 241 with the second round, with our second series of the day. We missed out on an XZ versus Creator. Unfortunately, that series did conclude as we were wrapping up our series, and now we are jumping into the quarterfinals. If you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on how you think the series will unfold. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Hyper 1. It is Hon Mono. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player from land of South Korea representing Blacklist International. It is Creator. Again, predictions are open. They're going to close in a minute or so place your bets while you can as we are entering the quarterfinals. As a reminder, the winner moves on to the semis, most likely to face off against Rogue, but we'll see if an upset does occur. Other results have been coming in. They've been trickling in. Nightmare did advance on into next round. Firefly advanced on as well. The bracket is progressing quite nicely, and we're here to follow it to its conclusion. Let's go, baby, let's go. For now, we are going to be following Hon Mono, now up against one of the best Protoss players in South Korea in the world. Creator was barely shy of making it into EWC, was so very close to making it in the end, was barely not able to, but is at least here to compete in the ESL Open Cup. And we'll see if Creator can redeem himself here. Again, he is one of the big favorites to make a deep run. Big favorite, big favorite. Meanwhile, back at home, double gas opener, double gas out of Hon Mono, going for a Rax into Factory, delayed CC from our Red Terran player, and Hon Mono is known for a couple different things. I apologize for not being able to dive into that in the previous series. I was otherwise preoccupied, and there was some stuttering going on, and I was still waking up, but now we can talk about the players. Hon Mono, if you're maybe unfamiliar, he's a very aggressive player. He's living in Japan, he's from South Korea, and he is the most aggressive Terran player in all of South Korea. Maybe a better way of putting it, the cheesiest Terran in South Korea. That wasn't really shown too much in the last series. We saw Hon Mono pull the boys at one point and go for an all-in, but that's what he's known for. That's his forte, is two base all-ins, time and time again against Protoss players. And we saw some macro out of Hon Mono against Azura, but I imagine he was a little bit more confident against Azura as a player. Against Creator, I imagine we're going to be spicing it up that much more. I'm hoping, at least. It's what we want, but Probe Scout gets denied. Reaper's moving out across the map, or at least looking to try to gain map control. We do see the Adeptus being active. We do see the Creator is attempting to slip by, but will pull away as Hon Mono moves out with initial Reaper Hellion. And what is that on the production tab? Continued Reaper Hellion production. We're getting up to 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. Not an insane army, but an aggressive force nonetheless. The goal here is to break into the natural, to try to get into a mineral line, and to get some economic damage done. For now, though, we have yet to pull the trigger. We're waiting for reinforcements, and Creator is in position with our first 2 Adepts. We are in position. Alas, they're going to be keeping up. We get eyes on the Reaper Hellion. Creator taking the defensive stance. We have some SimCity. Shield battery is done. Overcharge available. And the army is pushed back. And behind this, we're getting to our 3-1-1 setup. Tank production has begun. This doesn't look like the beginnings of a 2-base all-in. The starport is earlier than normal, so it looks like we're just setting up in towards the mid-game. Hon Mono is going to be dipping in. Tabs on Creator. Ooh, 1 Reaper goes down. Nice pickup. Here it does initially shut him down. And so far, Creator is keeping up. Hon Mono yet to dive in. Behind this, we see it's a Blink-based opener. Twilight Council is done. Blink is on the way. And we're getting into a 4-gate setup. Oh my god, Creator going to be the aggressor here. I'm used to him being a little bit more defensive. I'm used to Creator being a little bit more passive, getting into a 3rd base, being more defensive overall. But with a 4-gate Blink setup, Creator is going to be the aggressor. He's going to break out and move out across the map. Again, 2 gateways to the natural, 2 gateways in the main base, 4 in total. This is designed to move out across the map and get some damage done. This is not an all-in. Creator should expand behind this, but it's going to be a much later expansion for Creator. We're focusing on Warp Pins and waiting for the Warp Prism. Here we go, the Warp Prism has arrived. We're moving out across the map. Hon Mono likewise pulling back. taking defensive stance. We have one tank on the low ground. We have a tank on the high ground as well. We have a Banshee-based opener out of Honmono. Okay. Banshee is going to be zooming across the map. Meanwhile, Honmono, he does miss the move out, I believe. Uh-oh. Honmono still trying to set up. Again, Banshee across the map. Honmono was able to confirm the gateway count. Oh, that was actually pretty huge. He saw both gateways in the main. He saw every single gateway. He is ready for the 4 gate. Back at home, well, we'll be able to delay the expansion for a moment. But we'll be punished for it. We'll be punished. Prism gets across the map. Likewise, Banshee into the main. And the Marines are keeping up. Now, without Stim, we can't really punish this too much. As you can see here, we can just float away. Or fly away, even. Meanwhile, Banshee, does get a pylon, but doesn't get into the main. And we blink on forward. There is no cloak. Oh, the Banshee goes down. Massive pick off. Aye, aye, aye. The Banshee does fall. And even though Creator didn't get much damage done, Creator didn't lose much. That's what's important. Creator shuts down the Banshee, takes the 3rd base, did force his defensive stance out of Honmono, and is still being active with those Stalkers. Oh. Still being active. Slowly taking an economic lead. Honmono likewise moving out. Catching out the Hellion Banshee, or Hellion Lib. Hellion Reaper. I'm happy. I'm still very tired. We're getting there. We're getting there. And from here, Creator's just backing off and building up towards Storm. We have High Templar morphing in, Storm on the way as well. And really, we're just waiting for Honmono's move out. Waiting for him to break out, to try to expand, or commit to an all-in. Creator's lying in wait. We do Stim away, or we do Blink away, sorry. As the tanks do unseason, do we pull the boys? Not quite yet, but that's a lot of tanks. Oh my god. That is going to be 6 tanks, and there we go. I was waiting for it. The boys are being pulled. It is going to be 2 base all in. The Observer does see everything. The Observer does confirm. Creator is aware. So far doing a great job of slowing this down. Baiting out Stims, picking away the Marines. One Stalker gets picked off. We have Storm! We have Storm! Oh my god, and a massive connection! We stand in the Storms! The tanks are strong, but again, they're still barely not within range. Tanks are pushing forward. We do have 2 more Storms available. At least 2. Honmono slowly making his way forward. We have the eBay on the way to create some Sim City. Likewise, the boys still here to tank some shots. But that is still 6 tanks. Yeah, big tank volleys going up, and you can see Creator trying to collapse on the army. Good Storm on the right-hand side. Very nice Storm. Likewise, Storm on the buy. Oh my god, the Storms are insane. We take down the Prism. Well, the Storms are solid. We have 1 left. And it looks like we do pull the trigger. And Storms get thrown down. We're collapsing on the tanks, and it looks like Creator will clean this up. I mean, I say that we're getting stuck on the Sim City there. We're getting stuck on the eBay. So a bit of an awkward engagement here from Creator, but he will get on top of the tanks. At the same time, the Immortal will survive. We get within range of the shield battery. GG gets called, and Creator takes game number 1. GG. Let's go. GG, well played. Creator will take the first game here. Honmono was holding his own. If you remember, Honmono, he was able to scout and confirm the 4-gate blink. Honmono was able to survive it as well, able to defend, and did eventually commit to his 2-base all-in. Unfortunately for Honmono, there was an Observer that saw everything. The Observer confirmed everything that was going on. Creator did confirm the move out and the boys being pulled, so he was able to slow down the army. He already had Storm completed. Storm was rushed out. Instead of going into Colossus, we had a Storm response instead at a Creator, and it was ready just in time, and the Storms were brutal. They were very, very nicely placed, and Honmono, he took the storms to the face. He there was some brutal storms there. And with that, Creator takes the lead, but we'll see if Homeowner can bounce back. We shall see. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our red Terran player, our South Korean Terran, representing Team Hyper 1 down to the series, looking to bounce back. It is Homeowner. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Blacklist International, leading the series 1-0. It is Creator. Go. And Homeowner, if at first you don't succeed, try even harder. He's gonna scout Creator. Oh my god. I mean, Homeowner has a reputation for being a cheesy player, and he will be scouted. Creator is all over this. Homeowner has been spotted. This was initially going to be a proxy 2 racks, and we force a cancel. Oof, that is a rough start here for Homeowner. I mean, at least he cancels early on, but still, this was a big commitment, and Homeowner's early game is going to be heavily delayed here by Creator. Meanwhile, a massive shout out to Watch Lulu. Thank you so much. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session, I'm assuming. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you enjoyed yourself. And welcome to ESL Open Cup Asia. Welcome, Pappy. Welcome. Oh. Here we go. As from here, Creator, he's in a dominant position. Again, I mentioned before, the Homeowner is the cheesiest Terran player in all of South Korea, and Creator is aware of that, of course. He has a reputation, does scout ahead of time, does shut him down, and we'll see how Homeowner transitions. I imagine we're going to be leading into a 2-base all-in. I mean, I say that just because that's what he's known for. After the initial failed proxy, you could argue that maybe we've stumbled a little bit too much and it might be worth turtling and getting to a 3rd base and getting to a longer game. We'll see what we go for. For now, we expand, 2nd racks on the way. This could be the beginning of a 3 racks. We'll see. Do we go up to 3 or do we go for a factory? That is what I am curious about. We go. So now it is going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Creator. So our Twilight Council on the way, going to be for Blink, I imagine. Likewise, across the map, we have a bunker on the high ground. And yep, we have confirmation that is going to be the factory, not the 3rd racks. So it's going to be a 2-1-1 once again, similar to what we saw against Azura. From the side of Homeowner. The Adept poking in, bunker should finish up. Second Adept has arrived, and do we get a Marine? We do not! Homeowner holds. Homeowner does hold, Homeowner does defend. And interesting. Okay, once again, Creator's being the aggressor. Game 1, Creator went for 4-gate Blink. Game number 2, Creator is going for a Dark Shrine. Once again, not something I was quite expecting. But Creator is going to be assertive himself instead, is going for a DT-based opener. I mean, it makes sense considering the game state. Checking the vision here, Creator did get eyes on the 2nd expansion, on the 2nd CC. So is aware it's not going to be a 1-base all-in, but despite that, because of the opener, we're going to be muling quite heavily, right? Like, Homeowner, his goal here, he's going to have to mule as hard as he can. He's going to be holding onto scans. Oh, he's not going to be holding onto scan energy, and that means that DT is going to be that much more effective. As the Adept does threaten the shade. The Adept, I believe, saw the production. Checking, we got eyes on the factory at least. Not quite on the starport. The War Prism is here. DTs are warping in. We do have some NG in the main, likewise here at the natural as well. Homeowner is going to be moving out, is spotted by the Adepts. And as Homeowner moves out with his 2-on-1, we have DTs getting into the main. And DT does waddle in, does hit the natural. Likewise, 2 in the main base. SCVs are going down. Oh my god! We're getting 10 SCV kills. We do have a scan. We get 1 Dark Templar in the natural. But there's still 2 more DTs, and we're going for the tank. We don't quite get it. Hop pick up. Tank is saved. And we force out another scan. This time we save the Dark Templar. GG gets called as we save the DTs, and Creator, he will take the series 2-0 in style, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. Creator will take the series here 2-0 and advance on. My condolences to Mono, but again, that was a wild series out of Creator. Again, playing in a way that we don't typically expect him to. Creator is usually more of a mid-game oriented player, but here against Mono, Creator was a lot more assertive. And again, I do feel like a big part of that was because of the reputation that Mono has. Creator, it feels like he wanted to kind of cut him off, or just kind of be in his face while he could, and kind of disrupt the build of Mono, and was quite successful. Very successful. GG. GG, well played. Creator does advance on, and do we have an opponent ready and waiting? Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back of yourselves. Let's hop on over and have a look at that bracket, and we do have an opponent. Okay. We'll just message some players and let them know. Here we go. As you can see here on the brackets. Scrolling down, we have, of course, Creator versus Mono. Creator advances on into semifinals. Rogue is waiting. Rogue takes down Luciano and Lemon 2-0. And Rogue has been patiently lying in wait in the upper semifinals for his next opponent. Creator versus Rogue coming up next. Scrolling down, we have Firefly. Firefly took down Silky 2-0. Firefly has been patiently waiting for the winner of Rex and Nightmare. If we are lucky, if we are a little bit faster, we might be able to cast the upper semis and the lower semifinals as well. We might be able to pull that off. If not, we'll go from upper semis into the grand finals. That is the plan for the stream. That is the current plan. I do need a moment to set that up though. Un momento, por favor. Here we go. Rogue is on Team Falcons, if I remember correctly. Yeah. We're gonna be good. We go. So as a reminder, this is going to be a best of 3 semifinals. The grand finals are going to be a best of 5, but until then, best of 3s all around. We go. As we get those payouts going. Beautiful. Our vetoes are underway, and once they wrap up, we can jump into our series. We can jump into our semis. Let's go. I see some people discussing like Microsoft and certain investments into StarCraft in the chat. When it comes to the future of StarCraft, as we mentioned before, the best thing you can do outside of just watching StarCraft at the moment, I would say, is that feedback forum. I did post it in the chat earlier, but there is an EWC feedback forum specifically for SE2. It was posted as well by Alex, of course, is the kind of head of he's like the product manager of SE2 at ESL. And yeah, a lot of it will come down to whether or not EWC does decide to bring StarCraft 2 back on for another year. From what I remember, I believe EWC is slated to continue until 2030 at least. So for the next 5 years, I believe EWC is planning to continue. But when it comes to the esports that they bring on, that they onboard, I do think that's a little bit more flexible, and I don't think that's necessarily set in stone. There was some talks, and I do agree that I think it's important, especially if SC2 is going to be coming back on board for another year. I do think it's important for there to be a little bit more security behind that. It would be really cool if we get another big announcement like EWC confirming, StarCraft for like another 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Just because it does give a lot of security, not just to the talent involved, but to the to the players. It is really important for the players to kind of have that sense of security. Right now, we have seen a lot of players concerned that is it worth practicing StarCraft right now? Should I be practicing Stormgate? Should I be practicing Battle Aces? Should I be practicing and spending my time on another game instead? What should I be doing as a competitor, as a player right now? Because there's so much uncertainty, that is negatively impacting the pro scene, just because they don't know what's going on. So I think that's the most important thing is just giving them some more stability moving forward. So we'll see if that's the case, right? That's the best that we can hope for, is if EWC does confirm it isn't just they don't just say something for 1 year, but it's a little bit more secure than that. But we'll see. And that's most likely, that should be the case for not just StarCraft 2, but for all esports involved, whether it's Overwatch and Dota and Street Fighter and all these other games that they brought on. Most games really. I do think it would be important, not just that as well, but for teams, right now team stability is a little bit more shaky, just because a lot of teams, of course, they've signed players for EWC, and they don't really have much reason to continue that support unless there's more another year or another season of EWC as well, and that's also not the healthiest for the players either. So we'll see what happens, but that's really really the most important thing to focus on, at least in the near future for StarCraft. But otherwise, outside of that, let's focus on what we have now, right? We have a lovely tournament before us. We have these amazing players as well. Players that weren't able to travel to EWC, players that are still competing, that are still practicing, that are still investing their time into StarCraft. So we're here to showcase that. As always, Pappy, going for a 50-50. As always, sporting in the top bottom right-hand corner of Goldenrod, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Blacklist International. It is Creator. I don't blame the chat for devolving into discussing Microsoft and the future of StarCraft in some way, especially the current climate of StarCraft, especially post EWC. It is understandable, so it's okay. But for the most part, I do prefer it. People to focus on the here and the now, and focus on the competitors that we have available here for us, that are competing for us as well. For themselves, but also for the viewers, for the fans out there. I would be a little bit more ideal. Otherwise, we're jumping in. And again, predictions are open. They're going to close in a couple of seconds, so place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we do settle in to our game. Once again, I did mention it is a 15-15 opener out of Rogue. Very safe build from our Korean Zerg player. Very modern build as well, which I do appreciate. That, of course, Rogue has been practicing, has been improving, and is clearly up to date with the current meta, current state of the game. Likewise, Creator going for a standard opener himself, going for a gate expand into the Cyber Core. So standard openers all around. As of for now, we are going to be moving out. Again, it's going to be a Stargate opener here out of Creator. It is going to be an initial Stargate into Oracle. So nothing too crazy for the time being. Likewise, Rogue back at home, just going for a hatch gas pool into a third base. I say hatch gas pool, my apologies. 15-15 into a third base. What this means is that the link speed or the gas income is going to be delayed for Rogue. Is going to be later than usual in preference of a secure natural base. So that's why it is a safer opener here out of our Zerg player. And will take a little bit longer for the link speed to really get underway. And for links to come online. Likewise, Oracle's moving out. Rogue is investing into an extra wave of lings. Still droning up, but does have an extra wave on the way. Rogue coming in with the Link Scout. Is moving out. Likewise, Oracles are being active. And we'll see what Creator can get done. So, I mean, so far, nothing major has really occurred. We're just settling into our opener, setting into our builds. But the Oracles are moving out, and we'll see if Rogue can keep up. For the time being, we have 2 queens at the natural, likewise 2 queens in the main. We have the tools to defend. More queens on the way. Link speed still on the horizon. With that, looks like Creator, he won't quite attempt to go into the mineral lines, just kind of testing the water share, keeping tabs on those initial queens. Back at home, taking a third base. Behind this, going for a Forge and Twilight Council, working towards a pretty standard follow-up here into +1, and I imagine Blink. Keeping the Oracle's pin back at home. More concerned with expanding and defending, less so with getting any economic damage. As a result, Rogue is able to drone up quite healthily. He's joining up, getting up to 3 bases. Lair is now on the way. Link's get across the map. And from here, we're just kind of settling in towards that mid-game as well. We have a bit of a gateway explosion, but this is just really to sustain ourselves, to get into our Stalker production. 4th base on the way. Rogue taking a more defensive approach as well, getting to his 4th. And Rogue has yet to really tech into any major direction. We do have a Roach Warren on the way. Fossil range as well will signify that we're looking to invest into Roach Ravager. Fast infestation bit out of Rogue. We might just be rushing into Lair Tech. Sorry, we might just be rushing into Lurker Tech, what I meant to say. The other one with an L. The Lunkers, baby, the Lunkers. Fast infestation bit out of Rogue, getting to our 4 bases. Again, taking a more defensive stance. And we'll see what Creator decides to try to get away with. He hasn't thrown down like an abundance of gateways yet. He could just take a 4th base, could just head on over towards a longer game, a later game state. Moving out with a handful of Stalkers. We're poking in. Behind this, taking up into our splash damage. It's going to be a Bay, not Storm. Working towards Disruptors, towards Colossus. And Rogue will be able to deny the 4th. Lays the 4th base, keeping Creator in check. Likewise, Creator moving out. Catching an Overlord. Hive is on the way. Now, I assumed that this was going to be for Lurker Tech, but there's still no Hydrogen. We're committing into a pretty... my apologies, I missed it. Hydrogen is done. There's the Lunkers, Bobby. Okay. I thought I was going crazy. I'm like, this should be for Lunkers. It is. So we are taking right into Lurkers. I mean, this is quite risky out of Rogue. It's, again, very tech-heavy, rushing and racing our way into Hive Tech, into Lurkers. But that is going to be Rogue's, at least, a win condition. Did invest quite heavily into these Roaches just to be safe. That did set him a little bit behind. Queen is going to be sniped. Creator getting into his own fourth. We're just trying to catch out the Stalkers, and it looks like we will be able to slip away. Oh, leaving out one Stalker though, two Stalkers even. Almost three. Stalkers are called out. Roach is being forced back. It's okay, we can afford to bleed out Roaches. Again, our goal here is to get into Lurker tech. Hive is done, Lurker upgrade should be on the way. And the Creator is working towards his Colossus, but actually went Disruptor first. Okay, we have a Disruptor's Colossus thereafter. But we're about to have a massive wave of Lunkers. They're coming! They're coming back. We see Creator trying to be active here, but especially because Rogue committed into all these Roaches early on, like, these Stalkers can't really get much done. And the Stalkers can't get much done, but the Zealots will force a cancel. They deny the expansion, deny the 5th. Not bad. For now, no Lurkers yet. We're slowly massing up Hydras. Lurker upgrade still on the way. Meanwhile, Creator taking and committing into a ground-based army. Now, looking at the vision of Creator, he has yet to really confirm what's going on. He hasn't seen the Hydra Den, the Lurker Den. He has spotted the Hive. That should be enough of a tell. That should be a tell here for Creator. And you can deal with Lurkers with a ground-based army, with a very heavy Immortal-based army. We'll see if we can get there. Once again, Rogue trying to catch Creator out. Never going up. Never connection. And here it is. Here comes the final form of Rogue. The Lunkers. The Lurkers have arrived. Vipers coming out as well. Now, Rogue is maxed out, but he has an inefficient army. He has to get rid of these Roaches. We have so many Roaches here for Rogue, and they are hurting him more than helping him. So we do want to throw them away to make room for more Lurkers. At the same time, Creator has a solid splash, or at least, yeah, splash damage-based army. We have Storm on the way, 3 Colossus, Disruptors, but more than anything, we need Immortals. And there it is, making 2 at a time. Here comes the Fleet Beacon, and this is something we see quite often here on this map on Golden Aura. As you can imagine, this defensive setup back at home is quite difficult to break. As a result, quite often on this map, we have late game. We have a lot of late game here on Golden Aura, and we are headed in that direction. Before we can get there, here comes a Nidus Worm, and we'll see if Rogue can bypass the main army and try to break Creator before we get into Skytoss. Can we break him? Again, a big part of that is going to be getting rid of these Roaches. Spires on the way, Burrow, Tunneling Claws. I mean, this is a very efficient way to get rid of the Roaches. The downside is it's going to take time. It's going to take time for these upgrades to really kick in, to allow these Roaches to actually, you know, be active and be useful. Zelda recalled back home, Creator rotating on the right-hand side. The creep for Rogue is lacking. Even though Creator has not been able to break Rogue, we've cleaned up and denied so many tumors, so much of the creep, so much of the vision. The Rogue doesn't really have much of a presence. Nidus into the main is going to be shut down. We shut down the Nidus. Ling run by, goes for the High Templar. Can we get it? Oh, we can! High Templar goes down. Not a bad pickoff. Overseer still in between the bases. The run by is cleaned up. Another Roach counter-attack here on the right-hand side. Again, we want to get rid of these Roaches before we can. Creator is threatening the south. How many Lurkers do we have? 7. 7 Lurkers, 2 Vipers, we have Abductions. We can deal with this initial force. Roaches coming in. Creator pulling back. Ooh, that was an Artosis Pylon. Oh my god. And again, Creator trying to gain ground, but we have the Lurkers in position. We are ready for this. The Lurkers hold their ground, and Roaches, they get into the base. They get into the 4th, the 5th even. Ooh, they do reveal Burrow, though. They reveal Burrow to Creator. Madison gets shut down. Roaches, they get into the mineral lines. Probes are falling, and this main army doesn't really achieve much. Creator, do we come back home or do we commit? 8 probes going down. Nidus into the main as well. The mothership has arrived. We have carriers on the way. But we Roaches at the 5th, at the 4th. The main army is still unable to achieve anything. The Nidus is going to be denied. Roaches in the natural. And again, as we're throwing these Roaches away, what do we have? More Lurkers. More Lunkers are morphing in. We're just getting a greater army. Likewise, +1 missile attack. Oh, sorry. +1 flyer attack on the way. It's going to be for the carriers that are revealed. Corruptor production has begun. Again, unfortunately, Creator, he invested so heavily into this army, into Colossus, Disruptor, Storm, and this army hasn't done anything. Like, we just haven't achieved much at all. And we're being outscaled at this point. It feels to be the case here. As we are doubling down on Mass, Hydra, Lurker, Viper. Another Nidus into the main. Lurker's now moving out for a counterattack. A bold move. To go for the counterattack quite like this, but Lurkers, they get into the base. At the same time, Creator moving out with a big counterattack. Goes for the hatchery. We'll be able to snipe it. Hatchery does go down. Prism into the main. Creator, okay, we're getting damage done. Knocking down the base. Massive warp into the main, going for DTs and Zealots. And we go for the spawning pool. Spawning pool gets picked off. Damage is being done. Another warp into the main. We should have detection soon. At least I'm hoping. We're going for the hive. Can we get it? The hive. No detection. Overseer's coming in. It looks like we will barely save the hive. If we had focused it with all those DTs, I think we could have gotten it. But alas, Rogue will hold on. At the same time, pushing in on the front lines. We run into a wall of spine crawlers. Lurker settling in. The Skyjust army is amassing. Creator likewise refining his own forces. Is able to get his base up and running as well. But Rogue is breaking out. We'll bleed out those Lurkers though. Was a brutal trade. And now we're really getting into the sky. We're getting to the swing of things here with the Sky Toss. We have how many? We have 2 carriers so far, about to be 4. More Voiders on the way as well. Suddenly, Rogue leaving Creator alone, or Rogue, I should say, refining his army, isn't ideal anymore. We do need to trade. The harass was nice, but Creator is still on 71 workers, still has saved this northern base. Rogue working on a second Spire, rebuilding the spawning pool. We're waiting for the move out. Again, Rogue has a bank to work with. I mean, both players do, to be fair, but looking for trades before the Sky Toss gets overwhelming. Speaking of, Mothership is exposed, and we can get it. And Mothership does go down. Nice pickup. We get the Mothership. We do deny the expansion. Nexus goes down. Creator's rotating. Creator cannot quite engage into this. That's a lot of Lunkers. And Corruptor. Oh, the feedbacks! Oh my god! We do feedback both Vipers. No abductions available. Vipers are racing back home. But the Nexus is under fire. Nova goes off. Good connection. Takes down 2 Lurkers. But the base goes down. I can't believe the carrier survived. The carrier lives! 4 HP! The carrier does live. And Rogue keeps pushing in. Oh my god, this I'm not so sure about. We get the base, which was good. But Rogue, he wants more. Does have the Nidus, he can evacuate. Nova going off. Carrier still amassing in the natural. And we are waiting to pull the trigger. The carriers are exposed. We get the carriers. Voidray goes down. We get 1 carrier. We get a 2nd carrier as well. And the Lurkers, they still hold their position at the same time. Lurker counterattack here towards the north. Denying mining time. 18 probes go down. And Rogue, Creator, he's just having a hard time pushing in. And here we go, we commit. We pull the trigger, we're going for the carriers. Not enough anti-air, not enough to deter these Corruptors as they shut down the Sky Toss. But what about the ground toss? What about the ground army? That's what we need Lunkers. Where are the Lunkers? Uh-oh. Creator going for a big counterattack. May have lost the Sky Toss, but we have a Colossus, we have Immortals, we have Stalkers, and we have how many Lurkers? We have 1. Is this too much? 1 Lurker! That's all we have! That's all that Rogue has left. Creator looking to break through. Again, only Lings and Hydras to defend. Lurkers are not ready. Massive Storm is going to be going off. And it looks like Creator has weathered the storm, going for a massive counterattack. The Spine Coolers are helping out. Colossus goes down, boys are being pulled, but the ground army is just lacking here for Rogue. Is it enough? Up! Here come the DTs. We have detection though. We do have plenty of detection. But last DTs, they overwhelm the Hydras. It looks like Creator, is he barely breaking through? We have 37 Hydras in production. The Hydras are on the way. Hydras are coming out just in time to defend. They clean up the DTs. And it looks like Rogue has enough. It's not the cleanest defense. We have no lurkers, but we have Hydra. GG gets called, and Rogue will hold on and take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. We've seen many a Zerg player fall to that big counterattack with a ground-based army if they commit a little bit too hard to Corruptor. It looked like that might have been the case here as well, but we saw that Creator barely ran out of steam. He had no bank to work with. He ran out of reinforcements. What you saw is what you got. And Rogue did have a bank. He was able to remax on Hydra and barely hold on, barely survive. GG. GG, well played. Rogue does take game number 1. But that was merely only game 1. We'll see if we can bounce back. We'll see if we can bring it back here in game number 2. See if we can bring it back. As we are settling into Alcyone as that second game. Let's go. Let us go. So we're settling into game number 2. This morning, in the bottom left-hand corner of Alcyone, we have our red Zerg player. The red Zerg, the Korean Zerg, representing Team Falcons, leading the series 1-0. It is Rogue. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, also from South Korea, down in the series, looking to bounce back here and now to force the ace match. It is Creator. Hello. Hello, papi. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Welcome. As the drone of Rogue is being sent out across the map, he is making his way towards the expansion to go for a bit of a hatch block. A cheeky move here by Rogue is designed to disrupt the build and disrupt the opener of Creator. Let's go. Exactly. How do you like having your natural blocked? How do you like it? Now, behind this, we're not going for an all-in. There's no early pool. There's no early, tech or production here. Rogue should be expanding back at home and settling into his own game. It is going to be technically a hatch gas pool opener into an expand as the drone is sent out. Oh, Rogue going for the gold. Okay, that I was not expecting. It's going to be a hatch block into the gold base. Bold move here by Rogue. We'll see if it pays off. And again, the goal here is to just force a delayed economy, delayed expansion out of Creator. Creator is checking for the base, for the natural. Gold base is being taken. And we'll see if and how Creator can punish this. Oh boy. Here we go. As the drone is... Oh my god, we get a second base! We get the hash block for a second time. Oh, and the boys have to come back. Once again, a lot of mining time. Link speed is on the way. We have a handful of links just to defend, I imagine, or to apply some pressure. And we'll get this gold up and running. Once again, the base is cancelled. The drone ideally going for a gas steal, but the gas has already been taken. Rotating on over. Now, the Chad move would have been for Rogue to also take his opponent's gold as well. to also take both gold bases, Pat. But for now, going for the standard base, checking the vision of Creator. Creator, he has confirmed, he has spotted this, is aware. And now the pressure is on Creator to punish this base. To punish the expansion. But now Lings are keeping him busy. Lings moving out, trying to get a read on what's going on. We have a Stargate in the main base, and Rogue will confirm. Does get eyes on the Stargate. Rogue is aware. And should be getting ready with Queens, should be getting ready with Spores. Spores especially because Queen production has been delayed, so we're going to have very few Queens to work with, especially at the goal base. But we're getting there. We are getting there. Rocks are being knocked down. Oracle's on the way. Again, Rogue is aware of the Oracles. And is primed to try to punish or try to counterattack even as well. Our Lings are in position to delay the expansion. And we have 2 Queens at the gold, no Spore. Likewise, just the 1 Queen in the main for now, but we're getting there. See what Creator can get done. Interesting, going Oracle first into a Void Ray. That I was not expecting. Okay. It's going to be the Void Ray follow-up from Creator. Will we go into a second Stargate into Sky Toss? I mean, that's going to be viable. That's going to be an option. Creator expanding, taking the linear third. Queens, they zone away the Oracle. They can't go too far off of creep, but being quite assertive here as the Spore is almost done. Oracle coming in from behind. The Spore does finish up just in time. Oh my god. The Spore is done. Oracle coming in from behind will still threaten the mineral line at least. But Rogue is quick to respond. Roach Warren has been thrown down. And we'll see if Rogue commits to Roach aggression. Again, he's going to be having a boosted economy with this gold base. So Rogue does have quite an economic lead for now. And the Lings, they get across the map, they get a full surround, and they're going to force a cancel. Oh my god! There's nothing here! The Oracle's on back at home. The Adepts are out of position. We get a full surround, and can we force a cancel? It's going to be close. Ooh, and we can. Oh my god. We force a cancel. Roach production has begun. And it looks like it's going to be an all-in. The creep is spreading halfway across the map. We are not droning up. We have how many workers? 40 drones in total. Oh my god. Roach, calm down. 40 workers in total. Making roaches, making lings. We have 1 more drone on the way. As we catch a couple of workers, 2 drones go down. But yeah, we are committed. Now, bearing in mind, this is a hatch-based all-in. It's off of hatch tech. What does that mean? That means that there is no creeping spread by the overlords. Likewise, no drop lords. No roach speed. Just slow queens and roach ravager. Rogue is all in. This base was cancelled. It's late. No shield battery, no overcharge. The third base is looking very exposed. Instead, Creator, he's defending his natural. We have a wall of shield batteries on the way. 2 so far. 2 shield batteries in production. Did I say 2? I meant to say 1. As we go for the... Actually, going for the pylon. The Miles, they take down the Oracle. Oracle goes down, and pylon gets shut down as well. We depower the shield battery, depower the production. And Creator getting caught with his pants down. Was not expecting, not quite ready for this all-in. He did scatter, he did see it coming ahead of time. But especially with the goal base, it is just that much more potent. That much more committed. Adepts trying to hold on here from behind. They're trying to engage. Shield battery goes up. We have the overcharge, but Elastic gets targeted down. No more shield batteries, no more overcharge. We're getting on top of the robo. GG gets called, and Rogue will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Rogue will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. And my condolences to Creator here. I mean, we had a back and forth, especially in game 1. Here in game 2, Creator, it felt like he was kind of forced to dance to the beat of Rogue's drum. Play to his music even. You know what I mean. Where Rogue was dictating the pace of the game with the constant hash blocks, with the cancellation of the third base, with the defense of the gold as well. Rogue was all over this, and Creator unfortunately just barely could not keep up. With that, Rogue advances on to the grand finals, and the question becomes, do we have a player waiting for us in those finals? Let's find out. Let us find out. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves. Looks like we have some updates. Looks like we have Firefly versus Nightmare. Nightmare took down Rex 2-0, and we have the lower semifinals. Firefly and Nightmare are currently facing off. They're currently mid-series. The question becomes, who makes it through? Honestly, this could go either way. This could go either way. Both Firefly and Nightmare are very comparable in skill. They're both amazing players in their own right. I'm a big Firefly fan. I'm not quite about that. Big fan of Firefly. But likewise, Nightmare is also an amazing player as well. This could go either way. They're currently mid-series. They're currently in game. They are 8 minutes into the game. I don't know if they're in game 1, game 2, or game 3. Could be either one. So as a result, we're going to be lying in wait. We're gonna have a little bit of downtime. A little bit of downtime while we wait for our winner, or waiting for the series to open up. Likewise, I'm checking to see if there is someone covering that series. It looks like there aren't any other English casters. I know that Inu was following us. Inu is the Korean caster. But sometimes you do have a Chinese caster, and it's possible that he might have been on this. Just trying to double check and confirm. Trying to confirm here. Checking their Twitch channel. Looks like they are not online. Okay. Just double checking. Yeah. I was just checking the VODs. So it looks like we don't have anyone covering Nightmare versus Firefly, so we don't really know what's going on there. But again, we're going to be lying in wait, waiting for that series to open up, and we'll be either jumping in or following it into the grand finals. That is the plan. That is the current plan. So we will get ready for that. Otherwise, I guess we're going to be going on a short break. I guess we are going to be going on that short break. That jingle, yeah. Alright, may as well pay out predictions. Yeah. Paying out. Okay, so we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have our next series. See you guys in a couple of minutes for the remainder, the tail end of the tournaments. We have 1, maybe 2 series left here ahead of us before we do wrap things up for the evening. See you guys soon. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon. Get some snacks, get some water, get some stretch your roaches, hydrate hydras. You know what to do. You know what to do. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semi-finals of ESL Open Cup Asia. I apologize for the extended break, but I hope you guys enjoyed that lovely, brutal OST as we have returned with the lower semi-finals. And we are jumping in mid-series, and if you're curious as to the scoreline, it's the ace match. Shouldn't really be a surprise to you. I mean, these two competitors are amazing players in their own right, and here we go. We're jumping into the ace match and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura. We have our South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless. It is Nightmare. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the Chinese Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Offside Esports. It is a Firefly. Let's go. We are jumping in, and if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will win this best of three. Basically, who you think will win this game. This final game here between Nightmare and Firefly. It all ends here. It all ends between these two players. And we'll see where this story does take us. Honestly, this could go either way. Coming into this, I assumed that this would go to the ace match. I had a hard time picking a favorite between both Nightmare and Firefly. I can see them both making it to the finals, but alas, there is only room for one. Only room for one of these two players, and Rogue is patiently waiting for the winner of this series. Who's it going to be? Oh, let's go. Who is it going to be? As for the time being, two gate openers. It's going to be two gateways here for Firefly. Likewise, two gateways for Nightmare as well, so two gate openers all around. Standard play so far. Likewise, a pylon is thrown down in the main base for Nightmare. Pylon thrown down in the main base for Firefly as well. No one is going for a proxy. No one is faking a proxy either. Okay. So far, so good. So far, so good. So I'm just making sure that the predictions are indeed underway. Are indeed operational here. We have our first units of choice. It's going to be Double Stalker out of Firefly, likewise Double Stalker out of Nightmare as well. Again, depending on the first two units of choice, we can dictate how aggressive, how assertive, or how defensive we want to be. So far, no Sentry, no double Adept, for example, just double Stalker. We'll see if we double down and go into a third and fourth Stalker as well. Both players are going to be delaying each other's expansions and keeping an eye on each other's first couple of units. Pylons have been thrown down. Stalkers are revealed from both players. Kind of, as I think Firefly may have just barely missed those initial Stalkers. Firefly going for a double Sentry behind this. Meanwhile, Nightmare doubling down. Oh, actually, never mind. Also going double Sentry. So, mirrored builds for the time being. Both players are expanding. Both players getting to Sentries. Sentries are so powerful nowadays in PvP as they provide so much scouting, so much defensive prowess. Hallucinations will be giving us so much information, showing us whether we take into a Stargate, into a Twilight Council, into a Robo. Our tech option of choice should be seen and scouted by the opposing player. Again, PvPs, it's often very difficult to try to get a fast one over on your opponent just because of how how the Sentry does work. Twilight Council out of Firefly. Meanwhile, Nightmare has yet to invest into his own tech. Has yet to commit. Still settling in. First hallucination is sent out, making its way towards the map, or towards the main, across the map. And Firefly is going to be the first to invest into Blink. Twilight Council is going to be delayed for Nightmare, is now on the way, but a little bit later than that of Firefly. Hallucination to begin. Hallucination does confirm the Twilight Council. Nice scout out of Firefly. Likewise, Nightmare should be doing the same. Does slip in. Does confirm. Does confirm what's going on. So do rally towards the south. Once again, another hallucination. Really what we're looking for is a fast third base, extra gateways, a happenstance proxy, any big sign of aggression or sign of tech. As the hallucination does commit, we don't really get to see too much. We are denied a scout of the full main, so incomplete information for Firefly. Firefly is going to be the first to expand and take a third base. Nightmare not too far behind him again. No gateway explosion, no robo, no further attack. Both players are expanding. So a pretty passive start here. When it comes to game 1 and game 2, we don't really know what did transpire. We don't really know how aggressive, how assertive our players were. For now, at least we can say that it's pretty standard, pretty safe play. Nothing too chaotic yet. Not yet, at least. Meanwhile, we have our follow-up tech of choice. Going to be a Robo here from Firefly. Likewise, Forge is on the way. We're going to be rushing into +1 attack. Nightmare's keeping up, except for the Forge, as there is no... there we go. As the Forge is going to be slightly later here for Nightmare. Later Forge, later Robo. Oh, and Firefly being a little bit cheeky. This is a risky maneuver. Dark Shrine. Dark Shrine is on the way. This is after the Hallucination Scout. That's what's important here. Sorry. After the initial Hallucination Scout ran out of Nightmare. Firefly's moving out. Nightmare is likewise pushing with his main army. And Nightmare is currently in the dark as to what's going on. Is that gets in? No! We missed the wall. We missed the pylon. And they do waddle into the main base, and we should get a full scout as probes are going down at the same time. And Nightmare pushing towards the third base. Firefly's in trouble. Oh, the force fields are brutal. He can barely engage. Shield battery still in the way. The Stalkers are struggling to really push in. And Nightmare is taking this fight at the same time. 5 probes go down in the main. But with the defense's advantage, we should be able to hold on. I say that we're down to 4 Stalkers, down to 3. But the shield battery is finally done. Oh my, the aggressive blink. Calm down. Overcharge is popped, and it looks like we will barely hold on. And very quickly checking the vision here. Oh my god, as we try to chase Nightmare down. Nightmare did not scout the main. He was in the main base, but barely he did not see the Dark Shrine. And the DTs, they're coming. The DTs are warped in. So far, just the one. Warp Prism behind this as well. And do we have detection? We do. We have an observer here outside of the natural. We do have detection. Thankfully, Nightmare did not skip it. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult here for the DTs to get damage done, but we are welding in. And the detection is at the natural, not at the third. We get a probe. We get 2. We get 3. We get 4. 4 probes. It's okay. It's okay. We were hoping for a little bit more damage, but alas, detection was not too far away. And Nightmare does hold. Meanwhile, Firefly takes an economic lead and is getting into his 4th base. He survived the aggression, and now Firefly is able to eventually turn that into a larger army. Until then, though, we have the War Prism getting into the main. Likewise, a Firefly sharking around. He does have map control. Nightmare moving out with purely Blink Stalkers, though. Likewise, is being active. And the main base looking a little bit more exposed. The probe is stuck! No! Save him! You can recall the probe! Or save it with the War Prism. But there is a lone worker here in the main. Likewise, cannon as well. No shield battery. DT's going for the cannon. Uh-oh. DT's, they dive on the cannon. They force a recall. We get 7 probes. We do get the hell out of there. Oh no! One more volley! Oh, we get the prism. Massive pickoff. War Prism goes down. Nightmare does defend. Oh no! I mean, oh, never mind. I was gonna say, at least the probe has friends, but only for a short time. Only, he's like, don't leave me! Call for help! Get someone to say, never mind. As Nightmare just abandoned his worker, meanwhile he dives on the prism goes down. We deny the warp in. Very nice pickoff here by Firefly, but charge is not done. The slow lots are coming in. We do need a couple more seconds here for charge. Without it, the 4th base is under fire. Immortals have arrived. If we had charge lots, we could defend, but the base is going to be sniped. That's a kill in the Nexus. Nexus goes down. Nightmare takes his own. I cannot fight this head on though. Charges on in 5 seconds. And the Immortals, they're putting in a lot of damage. There we go. A 3rd Immortal has arrived. 1 Immortal goes down. Nice pickup. Nightmare forced to retreat. Trading here with the Immortals, but these are expensive losses for Nightmare. Bearing in mind that was 9 Stalkers going down, but Firefly likewise losing an equivalent amount, if not more. So better trade here for Nightmare. Rotating around. Firefly forcing back the army, taking it back up 4th. +2 is about to kick in. So Firefly will have that upgrade advantage. Likewise, Firefly once again diving on the main army. War Prism moving up behind this. Prism towards the main. Ooh, and hopefully we have a Warpin available. If not, we could be in some trouble. Again, a Nightmare does have the supply lead, but is working with mainly a gateway army. Warp into the main. We do have some reinforcements, but oh, we do have a DT. Okay. Dark Templar to defend. And again, the soup does not quite lie. That's an Immortal. That's 2 Archons as well. That's a lot of Zealots. Now, this Zealot army can melt against the Archons or Firefly. It's all about the engagement, all about how we do engage with the main army. Firefly being forced back. War Prism still being active. And Firefly racing back home. Nightmare getting 1 extra probe. That is a lot of Zealots. +2 is now done for both players. War Prism into the main. Immortal Drop comes in. It doesn't get much done. Does at least force a recall. But Nightmare is now maxed out. Now again, when it comes to the army compositions, Firefly is even in Immortals and up in Archons. A lot of the supply here for Nightmare is in Zealots. It's mainly Zealots and a couple of Stalkers as well. 10 extra Stalkers. But Firefly needs time. He needs time, and again, Firefly's army is a little bit more high-tech. A little more value in it. Once again, Dark Templar to defend. Oh my god. We did get 3 probe kills. Nightmare moving out. The War Prism still live, still does pose a threat. And ideally we do leave some static defense to defend, or some units as well, as this War Prism has done quite a lot. But yeah, Nightmare cannot push into this, so he has maxed out with a subpar army, and likewise Firefly is catching up in supply. Ooh, getting a Stalker. Very nicely done. And 4 probes. Jesus. 4 workers go down. Nightmare behind this, working towards Disruptor production. That's going to be 2 more robots on the way. That's going to be triple Disruptor production for Nightmare. Oh my god. And that's the answer to this army. Firefly's on a timer. Now, thankfully for Firefly, Nightmare is basically max, so we don't have a lot of room for Disruptors. There we go. 1 Disruptor is being built. But Disruptors are how you deal with this. Like, this army, it's big, it's beefy, but it's also very immobile. Dodging Novas is not really possible with Mass Archon. So, what I'm saying here is, we gotta go. We gotta send it back. 2nd Disruptor's on the way. Firefly now moving out, but we now have that 1 Nova. We have 2. Uh-oh. Yeah, we now have 2 Disruptors here for Nightmare. And you can see he's killing his own Zealots for more Disruptors. He's just making room. More Disruptors are on the way. He knows how much trouble he's in, and he knows he needs Disruptors. That's what he needs. That's the answer here to the army. Firefly still sharking around, but he's being left behind. Firefly building up a bank, and we have nothing here. We need a bay. We need a bay, a robo, or like Stargates and Phoenixes. Like, Firefly is stuck on a mid-tier army. Yeah, the Novas are revealed. Oh, that splits! We get 1 Archon. 2 more Novas available. Big connection. And here we go. Firefly, he has to go in here and now. It's all or nothing. We're getting on top of the base. Nova's going off. Takes out another Archon. Another Archon falls. The Archon's taking a lot of damage. And we do have to back off. More reinforcements on the way. Another wave of Archons. Oh my god. But the Novas are brutal. They take out another 2. Extensive losses. The base is going down. We shut down the Immortal, and it looks like Nightmare is going to clean this up. He breaks through the defensive line, and Nightmare, he will shut down this army. Does lose the base, does lose the mineral line. But there's nothing left. There's nothing left for Firefly. We're down to Stalkers. And again, we were just left behind tech-wise. No Disruptors of our own, or Phoenixes, or Skytoss. We were just stuck on Mass Archon, which could have worked. We just waited a little bit too long. Now, props to Nightmare. A big reason why we waited, the War Prism. The War Prism was buying a lot of time, was being so annoying, such a nuisance. And without that Prism, Firefly would have moved out long ago. Maybe not earlier, at least. Oh my god, the Novas! The balls are going off, the Novas are connecting. And Nightmare, he's breaking through. We do have a DT's wreaking havoc. They're doing what they can. Do we have detection? Okay, we do. Okay, we're good. Oh my god. Novas do connect. We do have observers. There we go. The observer has arrived just in case. And Firefly is kiting his heart out, but again, he just cannot keep up with this kind of army. With Stalker, Immortal, Disruptor. Firefly trying to play catch up. Nova's going off. They take down the shield battery. Stalker's coming from behind. But there are just too many Novas. They do snipe a lot of Disruptors. Very nice target firing, but numbers are just working against Firefly. GG gets called, and Nightmare will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Nightmare will take the series here. And it is not showing the correct players for some reason. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Let me There we go. Firefly does take the series 2-1, advancing on to the next round. My condolences to Firefly. Firefly did hold his own. He did force the ace match, and even had some nice moments in this game as well. Unfortunately, the DT harass was a little bit lackluster. If you recall, the Dark Templar weren't able to get much damage done across the map. Likewise, Firefly was able to max out with a mass Immortal Archon-based army, which would have done well if we had only pulled the trigger a little bit sooner before we had hit critical mass of disruptors. By the time that happened, we were able to just pick away at those Archons, pick away at the main army of Firefly. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations, Nightmare will advance on, and we have our two finalists here. Again, Nightmare and Rogue were the two favorites to make it in those finals. Alas, there wasn't anyone that could stop them. I mean, Creator and Firefly did pose a threat, and Nightmare was even forced into the ace match, but alas, it was not enough to stop them from meeting. And now they face off in those finals. Let's go. They are going to be facing off. The probe has no... Catching up in the chat. Hello, Lunacy. Hello. Good to see you. I missed the horn at EW, at the Esports World Cup, EWC. Intros feel so empty without. Unironically, I feel the same. I mean, I'll be honest, I have a really hard time watching GSL and watching like EPT and DreamHacks without the trumpet, without the fanfare. It does feel like there's something missing in those matches. But that's what happens when you hear it for so long. It's oh no. Not like this. Oh, we do have those payouts. And we are now getting ready for those grand finals. Here we go. Our players are just connecting their vetoes as we speak. Looks like we have vetoed Ghost River, Crimson Court, Dynasty, Post Youth, standard vetoes. These are the vetoes that we expect to be seeing here. Most of the unorthodox maps have been gotten rid of, and now we're getting ready for our best of 5. Bear that in mind, it's going to be a best of 5, not a best of 3. So it is one series remaining, but it's going to be quite a series. It's going to be quite a series indeed. Oh. As there we go, the map order has been set in stone, and we're jumping into our grand finals. Shout out to Into the Inu, of course, casting in Korean. And we're in this as well, of course. And we're jumping in. Game 1 is on Golden Aura. If you're in the chat, get your gamba going. Predictions are about to open up in the chat so you can place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Will it be our Protoss or our Zerg? Will it be Rogue or Nightmare? Up to you to decide. I would favor Rogue coming into this, but we have seen Nightmare pop off from time to time in this matchup. What I will say though is that Nightmare's weakest matchup is PvZ. Nightmare, he pops off against Protoss, he pops off against Terran. We've seen him take down Beyond, we've seen him take down Clem, at least a previous form of Clem, I should emphasize. But against Zerg, Nightmare, he is still not quite at his final form there yet. He's still working on it, he's still improving at that matchup, and we'll see how he compares to his opponent. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our blue Protoss player from South Korea. It is Nightmare. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent going for a 15-15, going for a very safe opener. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. And again, if you're in the chat, predictions should now be open, so you can place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat with those bets, with those predictions. As a reminder, it's going to be a prediction for the series, not for the game, but for the entirety of the best of 5. Best of luck. Otherwise, we're settling in. As a reminder, again, 15-15, 15 hatchery into a 15 spawning pool. The purpose of this build is to throw down the expansion before the probe arrives so we can actually get our natural on location. This does mean that your queen is slightly earlier. It means that your gases are slightly later. As a result, later link speed, later aggression. The last time we saw Rogue on this map, he was up against Creator and we saw the same opener. And it led into Rogue rushing into Lurker tech. We saw that Creator was able to get into his own Skytoss based army with quite a heavy ground support and was able to take a fight but was unable to close out the game. Rogue, he barely held on with Hydra reinforcements after his initial army had melted. Rogue was able to reinforce, he had a large enough bank to reinforce and to rebuild, and he was able to eventually clean up the move out from Creator. We'll see if we kind of replicate that kind of success for Rogue or if Nightmare can succeed where Creator did fail. Shall see. So now we're settling in. Personally, I'm hoping for a back and forth. Personally, I'm hoping that it is not going to be a 3-0. It's not going to be one-sided. That is my hope, at least. But we'll see as we are getting into the finals. For now, outside of the safe opener out of Rogue, we do have Nightmare going for a gate expand into Cybercore. Likewise, standard opener from our Protoss player. Based on the pylon location, looks like a Stargate opener as well. Yep, there we go, Stargate's on the way. Usually, if we go for a Twilight Council, we try to throw down the pylon a little bit further back to hide the tech. For the pylon to be up against the wall or up against the cliff face does typically mean Stargate. Not always, but typically. Meanwhile, force cancel. Nightmare going for a bit of a pylon block, trying to delay the expansion. Trying to delay Rogue for as long as he can. Does delay for a time, but Rogue now gets a third base on the way. Meanwhile, with this Stargate opener, we could go for the Oracle first, we could go for the Void Ray. Void Ray would be designed to hunt down Overlords and to deny vision, deny scouting. Otherwise, we could just be going for an Oracle, into a third base, into a standard game. Now, when it comes to Nightmares, how he thrives, oh, it is going to be the Void Ray. Okay. Void Ray opener out of the Protoss. It is going to be to hunt down these Overlords, and Nightmare does typically thrive in the mid game. He's not so much, he can play some late game, that is true, but he's usually forced into it. He really thrives in the mid game, he thrives in the aggression, in your face, in PvZ, and we'll see if that continues to be the case here against Rogue. For now, the power of the Void Ray is to hide the tech. Overlord itself going to be diving behind the main base, trying to keep itself hidden from his opponent. And the Void Ray is unaware. We're looking for the Overlord, and we don't find it. We don't find the Overlord. The Void Ray is moving out. Behind this, we're expanding, going for the Oracle, and do we throw down the fast Twilight Council? That is the question. That is what we are here to find out. As Rogue does dive in. The Overlord will find an the Void Ray will find an Overlord across the map. Does find an Overlord, gets one, can get a second as well. Rogue getting supply blocked. Not bad. We do already supply block 3 Overlords on the way. Queen's forcing back the Void Ray, and will we find that second Overlord? It's so close. The Oracle. He spots it. He sees. He doesn't turn around. He's going for the Overlord back at home instead. Meanwhile, it's going to be a standard transition. We do have a Gateway on the way, a Twilight Council, and a Forge in the main. Oracle does hit the third. And we get 3 drones. That's a lot of hull damage. 3 workers do go down. Overlord's still getting scouting. Wait, what? Where'd the Void Ray go? I was like, where'd the Void Ray go? If not at home. The Overlord will get a full scout, by the way. Does confirm the Twilight Council and the Forge as well. Big scouts. Meanwhile, Oracle's being active, catching a tumor. Dipping into the bases. And will manage to get a couple of extensions. Oh no! Big overextension! Yeah, a little bit too greedy there by Nightmare. 1 Oracle goes down. That is not worth it. We have gotten a couple of workers, but once again, oh my god, calm down! The Oracle takes a lot of hits, and we have to get the hell out of here. Meanwhile, back at home, Lings are still being active. Still marauding around, threatening the bases, threatening a counterattack as well. And Nightmare is teching up. Okay, we're not going for a 3-base all-in. We're not going for a too heavy Stalker aggression. We're defending and we're taking up into what looks to be Colossus. I'm assuming Colossus. We can't go into Disruptor. But again, we are taking up instead of investing into the army. As the 3rd base is getting up and running, Nightmare taking a more defensive stance. Working with the bare minimum. At least for now. And once again, I was curious if Rogue was going to change things up, if he was going to switch gears here, but the answer is no. The answer is, as we get to the top of the Void Ray, we have +1 range. +1 range is on the way, Hydrogen as well, and this should be to rush into Hive Tech, as the Infestation Pit is almost done. We're almost done with the Infestation Pit. From here, leads into Hive Tech, leads into Lurker production. Now, Rogue is playing a little bit differently, and I'm sure a big reason as to this is because he was able to scout the main base and confirm the lack of warp ins here at the 3rd. But what I'm referring to is that Rogue is not making roaches. Previously, against Creator, Rogue did invest into roaches early on to defend, to survive. This time, we're skipping roaches and going into Hydro Lurker Viper as quickly as possible. So Rogue is cutting corners. And he's getting away with it. So Rogue able to be a little bit greedier. Now, as a result, Rogue is vulnerable. He is vulnerable at the moment to, a move out to aggression. We do have a handful of Stalkers moving out onto creep, but that's quite a lot of creep already here for Rogue. As we're poking in, catching a couple of tumors. And clearing up a couple of tumors. Likewise, not really committing to any kind of move out. As we mentioned before, again, Nightmare doesn't really have too much production to really sustain a large enough army to break through. We're just poking and prodding, and that means that Rogue gets away with Lurkers. He has successfully gotten away with rushing into Lunker Tech. The Lunkers are here! And the Lunkers are moving out. Uh-oh. And Rogue, he has a big power spike at this moment. We're still waiting for the upgrades, waiting for Lurker range. Once it kicks in, we can move out. Until then, Nightmare is scouted. Behind this, Disruptor production has begun. We need those Novas, we need those Disruptors. Nightmare was able to make use of them to quite great effect against Firefly. But we need them here and now against Rogue. Getting to Adrenal. Rogue joining up to 85. Solid economy. Getting a 5th base. The creep was stifled for a moment, and Rogue is busy replacing it all. He's being kept busy. Nightmare, he's still taking up, still embracing more Disruptors. No Immortals yet, which is a little bit concerning. Heavily reliant on those Novas. Very heavily reliant. See Rogue being active. Likewise, Nightmare scouts him. Does respond. And Rogue already throwing down a Spire, already getting ready for Sky Toss, assuming that it's on the way. Oh my god. We shut down the Zealots. Overseer gets a full scout, confirms there are no Stargates. Well, there's no Fleet Beacon, there's no second Stargate. There is no Sky Toss. Rogue can breathe easy. Do we have any Vipers? We could do with some Vipers, but Rogue is maxed out. Vipers would be ideal. Without them, this army can actually pose a threat. Like, imagine these Lurkers with like 2 or 3 Vipers. 2 or 3 Vipers to abduct, to yoink Disruptors, to yoink the Colossus. There's no High Templar, there's no feedbacks, there's no counterplay. Vipers would have been beautiful. But alas, it's too little too late for that. I mean, the army's already here. Nova's going up. Getting a Lurker. Fleet Beacon's on the way. We're getting ready for Sky Toss. Catching another Lurker. Now we're going up. Getting 2 more. Oh my god. 2 more Lurkers go down. Nightmare trading well. As he's trading, big link counter attack. We do have a warp, we have an overcharge as well. Nightmare, he holds. He does hold on, pushing into the lurkers. Massive Novas. Oh my god. Disruptors are going down. We have a massive lurker wave here on the ramp. Ooh. And Nightmare, he gets punished. Yeah, this was not it. This was not the push. Meanwhile, across the map, Nidus International is ambitious. We have plenty of zealots. And Nightmare, he's still trying to just brute force his way through, but alas, he cannot. There's just too many lurkers. Gets 2 more. I mean, the Disruptors and the Purification Novas have been really good. They've been really solid, but unfortunately we did overextend earlier. And you can see the trades here. We lost 3 Disruptors, 3 Archons, we lost most of the army. Did get 10 Lurkers, which was good, but not good enough. Once again, up. Getting another. Oh my, we're getting so much value with these Disruptors. It's so good. We get 2 more. And do we have enough? And this time we get on top of 2 more of these lurkers. Another does barely arrive, but there's 1 lurker left. And it looks like Nightmare, he has broken the main army of Rogue. At the same time, behind this, we're counterattacking. We do take down a mineral line. Nightmare's economy is not looking too great. Does take a big blow. Likewise, Nightmare being forced to chase down these drones, being distracted, which means Rogue is rebuilding his army. We have 9 lurkers on the way. Oh, sorry, 5 lurkers on the way. 9 in total. Rogue, he buys time, and he rebuilds. Bearing in mind, Rogue has an economy. Rogue has this northern base operational. Rogue can rebuild. Nightmare less so. As Nightmare lost so many workers to that lurker counterattack. And Rogue holds. Nightmare doesn't even get the base. No! We could have gotten the expansion. The base survives. Lurkers have been replaced. And Rogue, he's holding. Barely holding on. Nightmare was trading well, but it does feel like he missed his window of opportunity. I mean, to be honest, I don't think Nightmare could have ended the game, but I think he could have at least killed a base and maybe threatened a second hatchery kill as well. Maybe. Alas, gets neither. Meanwhile, the fleet beacon is done. Mothership's on the way. Minus 300, minus 300. Love to see it. Is on the way. Lurkers have amassed. Okay, that's a lot of lurkers. We only have 1 disruptor. No! Disruptor goes down. Nightmare is trying to brute force his way through, but brute forcing into all these lurkers. It's not advisable. He breaks through the first line of defense, but not through the second. Yeah, too many lunkers. We focus on the immortals as well. There's 1 immortal left. Can't we? Yeah, no. It's not gonna happen. The final immortal goes down just before the mothership arrives as well. I mean, Nightmare did trade. He did kill a lot of lurkers. That was what? 10 more lurkers going down. But we have another 7. Nightmare rotating. Again, this is not a pretty game state. We're, again, just trying to brute force the issue here. Brute force the win. Another lurker counterattack. Lurker in both the 4th and the 5th. Denying so much mine time, forcing a recall. Yeah, the lurker harass doing well here for Rogue. Winning him this game. Or keeping him in this even. By crippling the economy earlier, denying mining time, forcing back the army, and giving Rogue breathing room. I would still love Vipers. I'll be honest. I feel like we made Vipers against Creator, remember? Like Rogue, he's made them already, he knows, but against Nightmare, nah. He says he doesn't need them. I think he does, but he has faith, he believes, but Zealot might get shut down. A bit of an awkward recall. Things are cleaned up. We got 15 probes at that base. It's a lot of probes. Look for run by. This time gets cleaned up. I mean, both armies are maxing out. This time we are lacking disruptors. But without Vipers, like, we still have potential. Like, without reductions or blinding clouds, like, we could still try to brute force our way through. Try, emphasis on that. 26 lurkers! 26! 26! That's... Oh my god. The lunkers, papi. Lurker gets shut down. Oh, sorry, Nidus Storm gets shut down even. Another Nidus into the main. This one is gonna finish. We're getting in! The Lunkers! They get across the map, and one slip up is all it takes. We get into the main base. Storm is almost done, but we do get on top of the tech. Fleet Beacon's gonna be going down. Oh, the Immortals, no! Oh, they get completely shut down as well. They waddle into the Lurkers. Another Nidus on the way. If it finishes, we can evacuate. Oh my god, the Archons! It's a meat grinder! Get away! Oh my god, the High Templar going down as well. This is not the way to approach this. The choke point is brutal. And the Lurkers, they hold their own. Oh my god, Archon's going down. Nidus finishes, they get the hell out of there. At the same time, we hit the 4th and the 5th base as well. And how much was that? We got 3 High Templar, 4 Archons, 3 Immortals for 8 Lurkers. And we get 21 probe kills. I'm loving the use of the mothership. We save the base. We do need detection. Oh. As Rogue is maxed. At this point, Rogue is maxed out. We mentioned before that Nightmare thrives in the mid game, but in a longer game, he can struggle. And we never did embrace Sky Toss. Likewise, the composition as well was a little bit lacking. We never embraced Mass Immortal. At a time, we were relying on Disruptors, then Archons. And just isn't enough to break through. Ling Runway is shut down by the Colossus. Nice into the main. And so we're going for the base. We're going for the Nexus. Couple more volleys and it will go down, and there it goes. Nexus does fall, Ling Runway coming back in. Rogue just pulling Nightmare apart. And it looks like Nightmare, his goal at this point is just to defend. It's just to defend, to try to stabilize, to try to max out. He's poking wherever he can, but it does feel like whenever Nightmare does decide to move out, Rogue is there to punish. And even then, he can't move out anyway. Oh my god. We're back up to 27 Lunkers. 27. We have a couple of Corruptors as well. Storm goes up. Lurkers are slowly pushing forward. Now we are looking at our position, Nightmare. Big Spine Shot's going off. Getting an Archon. Likewise, we have the high ground as well. One army pulls away, the other army pushing forward towards the last fighting base here of Nightmare. Oh my god, the wall of changelings! Okay, we get out of here. We were a little bit afraid of a counterattack. Oh, no, never mind, we're coming back in. Trying to get a feel for where the army of Nightmare is headed. There we go. Back into the Nidus. Nexus survives. Oh my gosh, that was a lot of changelings going down. As Rogue does attempt to reposition, outposition even. And there's a lot of storms. Oh, the Colossus! One Colossus goes down. We get the Archon. Storms on the Hydras, barely any. And the slow siege of Lurkers. We break through the Colossus, break through the High Templar. GG gets called, and the 27 Lurkers, they break through, and Rogue takes game number 1. GG. Oh my god. Rogue does take the first game. But as a reminder, this is the best of 5. We have a full series ahead of us. We have opportunities to bring it back, but a solid game 1 here out of Rogue was able to pull apart the attention of Nightmare. Nightmare did have his own moments, if you recall. There was a big moment where Nightmare was able to break through the first line of Lurkers, able to get on top of that 4th base, able to get the mineral line, but didn't keep pushing from there. Nightmare was not too confident to keep up the aggression. He backed off. He allowed Rogue to stabilize, to remax, rebuild, and get into a critical mass of Lurkers. I do think that the army composition was a little bit lacking. We could have done with some, spell casters mixed in, specifically Vipers would have helped a lot, especially before we got into High Templar, before we got into Storm. But despite that, I mean, it worked out anyway. it was fine. It was fine. Despite that, Rogue was still able to pop off, and with that, we're now getting into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have our South Korean Protoss, a player, the Blue Protoss. Representing himself, calling the team that's down in the series, looking to bounce back. Here and now, it is Nightmare. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player from South Korea, once again going for a safe 15-15 opener. Representing Team Falcons, it is Rogue. We go. As from here, we are going to be calming things down. Once again, safe opener, we're loading into Amphion. Amphion was one of the few unorthodox maps that did slip through the vetoes. As it's a best of 5, we have limited vetoes available. So Amphion is going to be an interesting one. This is a map where something like Mutaplay is a lot more viable, a lot more prevalent, for example. Likewise, I mean, short rush distance by air means that Skytoss, something like a Tempest Rush, or a Skytoss Rush in general, can work wonders as well on a map like this. We'll see if either one does embrace that. Here we go. Here we go. So now we are going to be settling in, calming things down. And we'll see our take of choice. Once again, it looks like a Stargate opener out of Nightmare. So the Stargate from Nightmare, and we'll see how Rogue does open up as well. As a reminder, last game, Rogue did skip his Roach Warren. He did go Ling Hydra straight into Hive Tech, into Lurkers. Rogue was quite greedy in the last game. I'm curious if Rogue plays similarly, and we'll see if Nightmare can maybe try to punish that greed instead. As the Stargate is on the way, Overlord coming in for a scout, Rogue will confirm. We will be settling in. So it does get into the main base. Once again, just getting a read on the gases, making sure there's no earlier gases, no earlier tech, like a faster Roach Warren, like a faster Bathing Nest, a faster Lair. I mentioned before that going to mutas is not unheard of on this map. But for now, everything's looking as it should. We're calming down, Pat. Calming down after an intense game. After an intense game one. There's the Oracle. First Oracle's moving out. A second's on the way. Going for the natural. The Spore's not quite here, so we do get a couple of drone kills. We get 3 drones in total. This time we do get away. Whew. But that was a lot of hull damage dealt to that Oracle. And we do manage to get a larva as well. That's a little bit extra. Just a little bit. Here, Nightmare backs up. Second Oracle's moving out. Third Oracle's on the way. And from here, we can expand. And that is going to be a Twilight Council into a Forge. I imagine the Forge should be on the way thereafter. Ooh, was the Oracle? Oh, no! Does get away. Does manage to slip away. There we go. Forge is on the horizon here for Nightmare. We're not going into Glaives. Additional gateways. Getting up to 5. Or 4 even. And we should be working towards +1 and Blink. +1 and Charge is also viable. The Oracles at least are still alive, but they are so battered, so bruised. I have to be so careful here. They're going for the Queen. They go for the dive. They get 1 Queen. And they're going for the second. Oh, Oracle barely does escape. We get 2 Queens. No! Poor Oracle. It's an okay trade. It's okay. Considering it was 5 drone kills in total, a larva, 2 queens for 1 Oracle, it's not bad. It's not bad from Nightmare. But is forced back. Behind this, Lair is on the way, and do you see what I see? We do have a Roach Warren this time. Roach Warren has been thrown down, but this might just be a safe Roach Warren out of Rogue. There we go, +1 range on the way. It looks like once again, Hydra production is on the mind of Rogue. The Lair is now done. Roach speed is being reassured, so Rogue is playing safer this time, investing into Roaches initially. Didn't do this in game 1. So we are getting to the initial Roaches. Stalkers are moving out, so we do need Roach Ravager to survive this to hold on. As we're just poking in. Meanwhile, Lings, they bypass the Stalkers. Once again, yep, Infestation Bit's on the way. That's going to be for Hive, and we should soon be throwing down the Hydra Den as well. This is the same build order that Rogue is going for this game that he did in game 1 against Creator, if you remember, on Golden Aura. In the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Nightmare did go up to 6 gateways, so 4 in the main, 2 at the natural. A much more aggressive start here out of Nightmare. It's not all in, but it is aggressive. And he's moving out across the map, and Rogue, if we are lacking an army, we can be punished. Nightmare pushing in. Distracted for a moment back at home. The Bay is on the way. Is going to be 4 Disruptors or Colossus or both. Now pulling away. We're going for the Nida Swarm. We're going for Swarm Host. Okay, I assumed the Infestation Bit was going to be for Hive Tech, but no. It is going to be for the Swarm Host instead. Again, this is a beautiful map for something like Swarm Host play. The reason for it is this location here is just so isolated, so secure. A Nida Storm here is going to be so difficult to keep up and shut it down. But now we're keeping up with the Stalkers. We're holding our ground. The bases are left untouched for the time being. Here comes that Nidus. Nidus running to the main. Stormhosts have arrived. Do we have anything in the main base? Are we ready for this? The tech is exposed. We can go for the Bay. We can deny Extended Lance or even the upgrades. What do we go for? What do we go for? But now Stalkers don't gain any ground. Locust Wave trading with the Stalkers. And it looks like they shouldn't get much else. Going for the Stargate. Oh, they do get it. Stargate goes down. Oracles, they do find the Nidus, but we have Queens! We have Queens to support. The Nidus Worm does stand strong. At the same time, Roach Ravager hitting the right-hand side, getting into the Stalkers. And we're pushing in towards the fort. And we're just zoning Nightmare away. He's forced away from his own base. Things are trickling in. The Locust Wave is available. And do we go for the main? And we are. Oh my god. It looks like Rogue is running out of steam on the right hand side. The Ravagers are going down. At the same time, we get on top of the bay. And we deny extend the Lance. We get it. Oh my god, we delay +2. And +2 is delayed. The Forge takes a lot of hits. The Locust, I'm sure, with the next round, wants that Forge. Absolutely rotating. Oh. Nidus Worms get cleaned up. Not bad. Back up Nidus on the way on the right-hand side. We're cleaning up at least some of the tumors. Nidus is done, and we can go for the fourth. It's the being active. The local save comes in. We have Zealous in position. We're ready for this. Not a bad trade. Clean up the Locust. Not a bad trade from Nightmare, I mean. Cleans up the Locust. He holds onto his fourth. He defends. Meanwhile, Rogue behind this is going to be maxing out. And we spoke about Hydra's earlier, and there it is. Hydra Den is done. The Lurker Den is done. We're transitioning out of Roach Swarm Host into Hydra Lurker Viper. Now, I mean, I say that. We didn't make any Vipers last time, so at least Hydra Lurker tech. At the same time, Fleet Beacons on the way. +1 air attack. Nightmare is getting ready for Sky Toss. Nightmare is diving into Sky Toss. As his opponent is embracing Lurker tech. Oh, can we get the Colossus? Ooh, not quite. Going for the base. Going for the mineral line. Oh my god. Late reaction. We get 14 probes in like 2 seconds. We come back too soon. No. We came back too soon. 20 probes go down. Not like this, Nightmare. Not like this. It's a nightmare. 20 probe kills. We cripple the economy here. I mean, Rogue doesn't have the greatest economy himself. Again, like, his own worker count is only at 69. Nice. It's a nice economy. Not amazing. But the Lunker production has begun. How many Lunkers? Not 27, but we're getting there. Soon to be 14 Lunkers. We're building up the Lurker counts. Ooh. That was, unfortunately, a Locust Wave on A move. Bit of a brutal Locust Wave from Rogue. A little bit of miscontrol. And uh-oh, that is 3 carriers at a time. I am a little bit concerned here for Rogue. I mean, sure, we're making a bunch of Lurkers, but Lurkers, they don't shoot up. Neither do Swarm Hosts, neither do Lings. We actually have very little anti-air. We have 3 Hydras. 3. That is our anti-air. Now, we do have time to, of course, refine our army. That is true. We do have some time. Locust Wave forced up up. Nidus Worm's on the way. And we will be able to race back home. At the same time, carriers are revealed. And Nightmare is pushing. Do cut off the retreat. Leads the Ravagers going down. Massive Lurker counterattack moving straight for the base. This does make sense. We need time for anti-air. We need time for Hydras. We take down the fourth. Lurker swinging back around. Nightmare is not pulling the trigger. Nightmare, he's more concerned with expanding, less so with counterattacking. And now we're back up to how many? 17 Hydras. That's okay. It's a decent Hydra count. Nidus Storm's getting knocked down. Still starting to deal with the Lurkers. Spire is done. +1 air attack on the way. flyer attack even. And unfortunately, Nightmare, he's just busy keeping up. He's stuck, kind of rotating between his bases, his 4th, his 5th, top right, bottom left. Nightmare is stuck defending, and this is giving Rogue time to build up. And he's going for the forge, or at least the pylon. Gets a pylon, and doesn't quite get the forge in the end, but does delay +3. Lurkers, they take down the 4th base. And this time we keep going. This time we do keep pushing. Bold move here out of Rogue. But the Lurkers are in the mineral line. Observers coming in. Oh my god, and we will clean this up. Not without losing a lot of Stalkers though. Oh, Jesus. We get 16 probes. We get the 4th, we get 16 workers. Another Nidus Worm. Nightmare is still stuck just trying to extinguish all these fires. Trying to keep up with the aggression. And here come the Corruptors. Locust over to the main. How many carriers do we have? 7. Soon to be 9. It feels like Nightmare's going to be forced into an all-in. It feels like at a certain point... Do we have Storm? We do. Oh, we don't though. Storm is resource, but no energy. Oh my god. No energy for a Storm. The 5th base is going to go down. And Nightmare, his economy is in shambles. We barely have any mining going on. The High Templar, no! We got 3! Oh, we got almost every single one. Brutal pickoffs. So many High Templar go down. I was gonna say that we're building up a critical massive army of ground toss, of sky toss, and then we can go for a big move out, but Nightmare's losing too much. Do we get a carrier? Up! Oh, not quite. Oh, we do! We get 2 carriers. We go for a very ambitious dive on top of the main army. Very ambitious. That is going to be 4 carriers going down. Not bad. And again, just like that, the army is crippled. We lost so many High Templar, carrier. That was how many? That was 6 High Templar, 4 carriers, and 16 Stalkers. And Rogue can replace that. Yeah, he already has. And we have a Viper. Oh, it's happening. He's crazy. Vipers are on the way. Finally, for the first time this series, we've been waiting, holding our breath for the Viper. They're coming. Another Locust Wave coming in. Going for the Nexus. With this Rogue, he's going to be able to just rebuild, remax, this time with a greater army. That is a lot of Archons. bear that in mind. We may just decide to go for a big ground toss transition once we lose all the carriers, that is true. But thankfully, we are not neglecting those Lurkers. We have 5 more Lurkers on the way. Another Locust Wave comes in, we go for the Nexus, Nexus goes down. Oh god, no, no. What is the Lurkers? Oh, we get 2 of them, if not 3. Get a decent chunk of Lurkers. Army being forced back. And yeah, for the past couple of minutes, it's just been Nightmare defending. It's just been stuck at home, stuck defending. And we're waiting for Rogue to find that final fight. Does come in, goes to carrier, gets 1. Gets a power bomb as well, but here come the Archons. Oh my god, but there are so many lurkers. We just shut down the Archons. We shut down the carriers as well. The Archons, they do nothing. GG gets called, and Rogue takes a 2-0 lead in the grand finals. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Rogue does end up taking it here. Again, just pulling Nightmare apart with something a little bit more unorthodox. It's something that you can do on this map is Swarmhost and Nidus Worms. This map is just a little bit more adept, or a little bit more lenient towards that, just because of the overall terrain of the map. There are safer locations where you can throw down those Nidus Worms and really pop off with those Swarmhosts. Not really done too often on these other standard maps, just because you can punish it that much easier. And Nightmare was just torn apart. He was torn apart by the Lurkers, the Nidus Worms, the Swarmhosts as well, even the Corruptors. And if I could be mistaken, but I believe Nightmare never moved out with his main army. He never moved past the halfway mark. Early on, he was active with his Stalkers, but once we got into the mid to late game, he was just never able to push, never had the freedom to push, and with that, GG. GG, well played. Rogue was so oppressive in this game. And we'll see if we can bounce back here and now. We have to fight back because we're up against the wall. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, down in this series. One more loss and he is out of the tournament. Well, the series ends, the tournament ends. He has to fight back here and now. It is Nightmare. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player. The Red Zerg representing Team Talent, Team Falcons even. It is Rogue. Unomas, one more game is all he needs. Let's go. Let us go. I almost said Talent Esports. It's the other one. Team Falcons. Team Falcons. You know, if Yaku was here, 100%, every time we'd introduce the players, he'd make an eagle sound, if you remember. If you recall, that was happening last week, without fail. I mean, I say like an eagle, like an attempted sound of a creature, is what I should emphasize. Oh no. Look, avian creatures in Singapore, they sound a little bit different than in other parts of the world. They sound like they're dying. Because they usually, it's just, for good reason. Smooch. Shout out to Yaku. For those that are curious, Yaku, he was meant to join me today. Unfortunately, he was unavailable. He did notify me that he'd be able to jump on if he was able to just fix things up on his end. Apparently, he was just troubleshooting some issues with his PC, with his, you know, other things, and alas, was unable to join us here this week. But will be able to join us later on in the week, I'm sure. Will be able to join. Don't you worry. Until then, we're settling into potentially the final game of the series. I'm hoping for an extended series. I'm hoping for a back and forth. I want to see Nightmare fight back here, but the pressure is on, and we're loading into Oceanborn. Here we go. Stargate has been thrown down. It's going to be a Stargate opener once again. Meanwhile, I believe Rogue went for a standard build. Let me just double check here. Yeah, hatch gas pool. Okay. For the first time this series, it's going to be a hatch gas pool. Every other game of this series so far on Goldeneye and on Amphion, it's been 15-15. But this time we have much faster link speed. Now, another thing to bear in mind here is that on Oceanborn, it is known for all-ins. It's known for aggression, specifically in this matchup, just because the third base of Protoss is a lot more insecure. It is a lot more vulnerable here to attacks from the center of the map. There is no high ground advantage. There's no choke point here. It's a very wide open entrance to the third base. That is why German taxis and Roach Queen walks across the map are a lot more common on this map, on Oceanborn. Also, I did notice in the chat, I mean, I said this before and I'll reiterate. I do apologize for the frame drops that you've been seeing. Unfortunately, it's just our connection to Battle.net. OBS and the Twitch stream is fine. It's just a connection to specifically StarCraft 2. Sometimes the Korean server is a little bit unstable. What can I do? What can I But it looks like it's like clearing up a little bit, maybe. We'll see. I haven't seen any stuttering this game so far. but I just jinxed myself. And I mean, now all the stuttering is coming in. Yes. Oh, he's in the chat. Shout out to Yaku is in the Twitch chat. Beautiful, beautiful. Do love to see it. As, oh my god, for the first time, okay, for the first time this series, it's going to be an Oracle opener into a third base, into No Forge, into Glaive Adepts. Let's go. It's going to be a Glaive Adept build here from Nightmare. And if Rogue cuts too many corners, then we can punish him. Plus one melees on the way. That is concerning. That tells us that we are skipping the Roach Warren. No Roaches to defend. Bailing us instead. Now, you can defend with Bailings. You can defend, but it is so crucial that you keep up with the movements of those Glaive Adepts with the Shades. Bailings have a hard time keeping up. But if you can kind of outmaneuver your opponents, if you can be in position ahead of time, then you can shut down the Bailings. Sorry, you can shut down the Adepts with Bailings. As Adepts are soon going to be moving out. Now, as a reminder, this is not an all-in, but this is a very aggressive start designed to get us ahead. So to give Nightmare an economic lead by dealing some economic damage across the map. Adepts do shade out. Rogue keeping up. Rolling off with the Spore. Lings going for the Surround. Oh, but the Lings are being shut down. Okay, Glaive Adepts, they just melt those Lings. Bailing does fall. Queens are trying to hold their own. Flush Transfuse. Oh, but where are the Bailings? They're still in the way. The Bailings are still in production. So many Lings go down. And Rogue will defend, but this has been a very efficient trade for Nightmare. It's been how many? 26 Lings for 2 Adepts. 2 Adepts. Oh my god. We don't quite commit. Rogue wants him to. Now he has Bailings. The Bailings are up. And Nightmare does back off. Just clearing up creep, working on the transition. We have a Pulse on and Blink on the way. Nightmare working on the next step. At the same time, Lings will hit the third base. There's nothing here. We get in. Oh, we get into the middle line. Shield battery's not done. Probes are going down. Massive damage here for Rogue. He has 3 probe kills. Up, can we get 4? But not quite. Just 3 workers, but he does force the defensive warp in. Adepts did race back home, and we're free to drone. We're droning up. Burrow's on the way. Lair as well. And we should be embracing Lingbane Hydra. Should be. As you see, Nightmare moving out. Going for another counterattack. Blink almost done. Third base still standing strong. Actually, that's an infestation pit. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Are we crazy enough? Like, are we crazy enough to go Lingbane into Ultra? No shot. No shot. There's gotta be a Hydrogen on the way, right? Through connections. Oh my god. Lingbane does shut down the Adepts. Infestation Pit is done. No Hydrogen. Now, Lingbane into Ultra in this matchup, I think the last time we saw this was on Ancient Cistern. This was like 1 or 2 years ago. Long time ago. But Dark used to be all about this. Dark used to be all about Lingbane Ultra in ZVP. I remember seeing it on Ancient Cistern. I think we saw it maybe once on Gressman. Maybe. But 100% on Ancient Cistern. 100% at least on that map. But it's been a while. It's been a hot minute. And can we even get there? Because here comes Nightmare. And Nightmare, he's on 8 gateways going for a 3-base all-in. And with purely Lingbane, that's not going to be enough. The Stalkers, they snowball out of control. We are breaking through. Again, behind this, no gases at the third base. We have a gateway explosion. It is 3 bases. It's an all-in from Nightmare. He will bring down the base. And he's looking to fight back in this series. I was worried about aggression from Rogue, but really aggression from Nightmare is what I should have been worried about. As it was Glaives into an 8 gate. And we are pushing in. And again, purely Lingbane is not good enough. It's not good enough. We need Roach Ravager. Or at least Hydra. Bailey's getting some connections, but Bailey's a tickle Stalkers. There we do kite back. Queens are going down. We're running out of Lingbane. The Stalkers are getting low though. They're getting very low, but they're still standing strong. Oh my god, we dive on top of the queens to focus them down. We one-shot the queens, one after the other. We brought down the fourth, now we're going for the third. The boys are being pulled in a moment of desperation. But all we need to do is reinforce with adepts, or even zealots, whatever we need. The slow lots are here. Banelings crash in. And GG gets called. We don't get to see the final form of Rogue as Nightmare shuts him down. And we have a series. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. We do have a back and forth. We do have a series here again. Nightmare, he went up to 8 gates. He didn't take any gases. No fourth base. It wasn't all in from Nightmare. And he did catch Rogue with his pants down. Rogue had no roaches, had no hydras. Only Lingbane Queen, and that is just not good enough. Not in that kind of game state, not against that kind of all-in. And with that, we have a series. We have a series, man. Let's go. We're jumping into game number 4 on site Delta. Let's go. Oh. It's catching up. Oh, hello, Chess in the chat. Hello. So glad your stream exists. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Oh. Here we go. We are going to be settling in. Looks like our players need a moment. Looks like they need un momento here before they can jump in. Understandable. It's been a very intense series so far. Has been intense. And we'll see if Nightmare can continue his return here. I mean, hey, we've taken the game so far. Can we take another? Now, a big factor here is going to be the map. We're loading into Side Delta. Unlike Oceanborn, Side Delta has a longer rush distance by ground. It is a much larger map. It's more wide open as well. It's not as ideal for these kind of aggressive plays and all-ins. So we'll see if we can take a bit of a different approach here on Side Delta. Here we go. There it is. So you can hear the beeps. It looks like our players are ready for us, and we are jumping into game número 4. Number 4. Here we go. Was literally facing Mass Ling, warping in slow loss instead of glaives. Oh, it's fine, Bobby. It's fine. It's a way to flex on your opponent. The slow loss. That's all we need. But here we go, we're getting into our next game, and spawning in the top left hand corner of Side Delta, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing himself currently teamless, but fighting back and putting a point on the board. Can he take another? Can we force the ace match? It is Nightmare. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the red Zerg, representing Team Falcons. Still one game away from becoming this week's ESL Open Cup Asia champion. It is Rogue. Ooh. Okay, going for a 14 hatch. Interesting. This is a different way of going for the hatch first before the probe arrives. This was more embraced by the Korean scene, less so by the European scene. During the initial rise of 1515s, we did see some 14 hatch openers instead. Just kind of an alternate way to get there, to get our natural on location. And I believe this does lead into a faster gas. We'll see if it goes into a pool or into a gas first. Yeah, there we go. It's going to be a gas geyser here. So the difference here is, on the one hand, yes, we do get a faster hatchery, similar to 1515, but we also take a gas geyser a little bit earlier here. So this does mean that Rogue can be a little bit more assertive with lings, with speedlings early on, and can make use of this gas a little bit, can invest a little bit further into this gas early on as well. So just an alternate way to get your expansion up and running, and leads into a very similar playstyle to kind of a standard opener, as opposed to delaying your gases. So from here, we're going to be settling in. Likewise, back at home, Nightmare going for the gate expand into Cybercore. Pylon is thrown down. We already saw Glaives in the previous game, and they were quite successful. Again, I don't like the idea of going for the same build 2 games in a row, so I imagine Nightmare has something different in store for us. We have yet to see a Twilight Council opener this series. It's been Stargate every game so far, including the last one. But we'll keep an eye on Nightmare. Oh, there it is! Let's go! As I mentioned, we haven't seen it yet this series until now. Twilight Council opener from Nightmare. This could be one of 2 things. Either Glaive Adepts, or I guess one of 3 things. Glaive Adepts or DTs or both. A combination of the 2. We'll see what we embrace here. We'll see if we pull out of gas. For now, we have 3 and 3. 6 workers mining gas in total. If it's going to be Glaive Adepts, we should be pulling out soon, as the robot has been thrown down, but we pull back in, so it looks like DTs. It looks like a Dark Shrine-based opener here from Nightmare. But the Overlord comes in for a full scout. Yeah, big moment here from Rogue. Does get eyes on the Twilight Council, gets eyes on the gas mining as well. I'm sure is aware that there's 3 workers in gas. And there is that Dark Shrine that we did mention. Now, even though Rogue didn't scout the Dark Shrine, he has seen enough to kind of piece it together, to assume. Oh, that's a lot of links. We're pulling the boys! Oh, he's crazy! How does he respond to a Twilight Council? He pulls the boys and he floods Lings! I mean, remember, Ling's speed is earlier than last game because of the faster gas geyser. And Ling's speed is about to kick in. What do we have to defend? We have a probe ready to wall off. Uh-oh. Nightmare is in position, and does he react in time? Does he wall off behind this? No, the probe! Come back! The probe does move out of position. The drones, they drill past! They go to the other side. They deny the wall off. The Adept is going to go down, and the Lings are flooding in. We were in position. We were ready for this. We were ready. We get on top of the pylon. The Stalker goes down. We depower the gateways. We have 1 Adept left, 1 Adept remaining. Pylon is still up. Lings, they bust into the main. They're going for the Dark Shrine. A Dark Shrine. DTs could end the game, but they get on top of it, and they will deny it. And DTs will no morph in. Dark Shrine goes down. Meanwhile, the Adept does fall. Pylon likewise as well. We depower the low ground. The drones, they pull back home. They're going back to mining. GG gets called. It's just too much. And Rogue will take the series 3-1, becoming this week's ESL Open Cup Asia 241 champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Rogue as he does take the series. A crazy response, a bold move here to scout the Twilight Council opener, to of course, if you remember, have had Ling speed coming up behind it, and to double down, to commit to pull the boys, to commit to a Ling flood. And again, Nightmare had a probe. If you remember, he had a probe patrolling behind the Adept, and did pull it back to mining. He was like, I don't need the probe here. I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. He didn't see what was coming. Unfortunately, with that probe pulling back into the mineral line, he had nothing to wall off. And alas, Nightmare was caught with his pants down. The pants were down, Bobby. They almost weren't. It was like, oh, is he putting on a belt? No. He wasn't, Bobby. He wasn't. No belt, no suspenders. In the end, Rogue did take advantage of him and does take the series. Congratulations to Rogue for winning 2 weeks in a row. Congratulations. For those that were not here last week, Rogue in the lead up to EWC was also the ESL Asia champion and has done so back to back. 2 weeks in a row. GG. GG, well played, congratulations. A shout out to Nightmare as he did make a series out of this. There was a back and forth, it wasn't one-sided. Did end in a bit of a bang and did end before we could really see Nightmare embrace his build and embrace his DTs, unfortunately. But regardless, you know, congratulations to Rogue for being able to showcase his skill and being able to make his return to from the military. Quite an exciting one as well. For those who don't know, Rogue and Trap did recently return from the military. They've been improving a lot at StarCraft. They've been improving and climbing the ranks quite quickly. hopefully there is an upcoming event in the future for them to really showcase that skill in. At least for now, in the ESL Open Cups, they have been quite successful. Trap was missing this week, I will say that. I was really expecting Trap to be here, but alas, was missing in action, and we'll see if he does arrive next week in the upcoming ESL Asia. For those who are maybe unaware, this is a weekly tournament. Every single week we host ESL Open Cup Asia, and this is a regional weekly, and we have one for every single region. In a couple of hours, there's going to be a European weekly, and then we have the Americas weekly as well. If you're curious as to our next broadcast, we will be casting the ESL Open Cup Americas tournament. That is going to be in 10 hours. In 10 hours time, in 10 and a half hours, we are going to be live again on this channel with ESL Americas. In 3.5 hours, we won't be live, but ESL Europe is going to be going on. It's tempting. Now, I know what I just said. At the same time, most of the casters are traveling. Most of the casters are traveling at the moment, which means there might not be coverage for ESL Europe. Again, we were the only casters for ESL Asia, so at least we were here for this. We're going to be here for Americas. We won't be here for Europe because I would like to sleep. I got very little sleep, I'll be honest. We were co-streaming EWC yesterday. I mean, the entire week we were co-streaming EWC. I've been ruining my sleep schedule, and I would like some sleep. I don't think I can do a marathon right now. We have done Asia into Europe into Americas before, but I'm not set up for it. I'm not. My sleep is not set up for a marathon cast like that. So hopefully Steadfast has you covered. I'm thinking Steadfast, maybe Chicken Man. I know Chicken Man has I know his, whether or not he casts ESL Open Cups does rely on his job, like his IRL job. Sometimes he's free, sometimes he's not. So Chicken Man is the maybe. Steadfast is also a maybe. I would have expected Steadfast to maybe. I mean, he doesn't usually cover Asia, so it's possible that he might be there for you. He might be there. Maybe BMO, at least other language casters. Other language streams are going to be there covering the event, and I do hope there is at least one English stream. They've got you covered there. I'm sure MaxPax is going to be there alongside Cristiano, Geralt. Expect a lot of PvPs. Expect a lot of PvPs. We might have some Zerg representation in Young Yakov, in Wayne, in Eva, and Fiant as well. I would hope so. But a lot of players are still traveling, so a lot of the players that were at EWC will not be a part of this week's ESL Open Cups, whether it's Asia, Europe, or Americas. Just bear that in mind. Bear that in mind. Oh. Otherwise, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the result. We do appreciate it. And yeah, we're going to be heading off for the time being. Again, this stream is going to be live once again in 10 hours with ESL Americas. 10 hours should be enough to rest up. Like, I only slept 4 hours today. Only 4 hours of sleep, so I'm very sleep deprived. I was struggling to hold it, to keep it all together here, but we made it. We made it to the end of ESL Asia. We'll be there for ESL Americas. If you're curious about the rest of our casting schedule this week, we have a lot coming up. We have not just the ESL Open Cups, we also have Code for Giants Cup on Wednesday. We have OSC King of the Hill on Friday. We have KSL on Saturday. We have MSO on Saturday. We have Sparkling Tuna Cup on Sunday. We have StarCraft every day of the week. And even on Thursday, we have a replay cast as well. So plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft coming up this week, every single day. September is looking a little bit thinner, it's looking a little bit lighter, but we'll fill it up, I'm sure. We'll find something to cast. It'll be fine, Bobby, it'll be fine. Oh. I see in the chat, Steadfast usually covers EU. Yeah, usually. Sometimes. So hopefully he's there. Hopefully. I prefer sleep over keeping SC2 alive. Sad time. You say that. I haven't slept. That's the problem, though. The problem is I haven't slept. Button up that shirt. Oh. Leave. Catching up, catching up. But yeah, with that, we're going to be wrapping up. Going to be wrapping up here for the night. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Again, we're going to be back tomorrow. I should also be having a ladder session, ladder stream tomorrow as well. I have barely been able to touch the game for the past week because of, like, EWC broadcasts have been like 10+ hours, so we've been busy. But starting tomorrow, I should be able to have some personal streams, some personal streams on my own channel. If you're interested in that sort of thing, you can click on the Twitch title. You can see my name, light_VIP. I do stream on a semi-regular basis. I should be laddering tomorrow, laddering some SC2. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, I got you covered there. We only cast on the CranKy Ducklings. So casting and tournaments are kept on the CranKy Ducklings. Ladder sessions and team games and other stuff is kept on like our personal streams and personal channels. So if you're interested, you can follow me there. Otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow for ESL Americans. Otherwise, thanks for watching. You can also follow us on all the social medias. One moment, I should pay out the predictions. But you can also follow us on all the social medias. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things CranKy Ducklings. Likewise, you can support us on Patreon as well. You can see our Patreon just underneath Nightmare's name. Our Patreon is set up to fund our tournaments. We do host a weekly tournament and monthly amateur events as often as we can. And our Patreon is set up to boost the prize pool of those tournaments and grow the events as well. So if you want to support StarCraft 2 tournaments, then Patreon is the place to be. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it. We appreciate it whether you watched on Twitch or on YouTube. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys tomorrow for ESL Americans. Until then, thanks for watching. Hasta luego. Ciao, papi. Ciao. Hasta luego. It's time for bed.